Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another edition of 13 Cards Subject to Change. I am here once again with Leroy in the kitchen. Leroy, what's new in the kitchen?
What's new in the kitchen? Let's see here. I got cookies. I got muffins. I have this
Wonderful
lovely
Nature's
liqueur
Touch brand.
from Quick Trip, and we got some chicken.
Label out.
I do. Well,
I know.
That, yeah.
We have a camera in here, too.
We have chicken. Yeah, we got a camera back here. I'm recording. We're gonna put some up, and we have some hot sauce. And it's because of this gentleman right here.
Ladies and gentlemen, on the show today is Al Sands, local boxer and entrepreneur of the hot sauce world. Al, thank you so much. And Jesse's here as well. Folks, today Jesse's going to eat a little crow, and he's all ready for it. And by the way, my sources have confirmed, Leroy, yes, Sami Zayn is still handcuffed to the barricade of the Thunderdome. Yes, he's still standing there, and he's got a sign. I don't know.
He's still protesting.
He's still going crazy. But anyway, so today's a very special show. Al, thank you so much for being here. I know you and I were talking about doing this for a while. So Al, you're obviously more in the boxing world than the wrestling world, but today we have some wrestling versus boxing type stuff to talk about. So a lot of stuff to go there. I think a very good place for us to start with you is the most recent thing that's happened in boxing that I've talked to you about was what was the last big fight that had Nate Robinson on the undercard?
Oh, Nate and Logan Paul, I believe.
Yeah. No, Jake actually.
It was Jake.
So anyway,
Logan's gonna get Floyd in a couple weeks.
The last big fight on the undercard was Nate Robinson versus Jake Paul. Now, if you don't know, Jake Paul he's a YouTuber. He's turned to boxing. Has he fought Logan before? I feel like Logan and him on one-on-one was like
they did some small like sparring stuff on their channel, but
anyway, so needless to say, the Paul brothers are not exactly the internet's favorite people. So when Jake knocked out Nate, I think at that point had been an amateur boxer for
probably a month before.
Yeah. So I mean, fair enough. Now, okay. Now my question to you is: a lot of people have obviously made memes and they've made fun of Nate. I think you're the guy who sort of said if you're not willing to go in there yourself, you can't really give him too much crap. So I mean, how do you feel about Nate trying to do something different with his athletic career? Since at this point, I don't think he's really NBA quality basketball. I mean, he could probably play in the G League, but I think Nate's a little bit better than most of the G League guys.
Big credit to him for at least stepping in and trying to think.
Mm-hmm.
People talk about it. Everybody's got an opinion about it, but nobody's willing to go in and do that. He did that on a big stage against a guy that does have some boxing experience. Is he world class level?
No.
But he's done it quite a bit before. He still stepped in. He still did the thing. He still put his face out there. And, credit to him for that. Obviously, didn't go the way that he wanted.
No, not at all.
How can you say anything if you never have the
And your boxing career now goes back how long?
Oh, gosh. We're picking up on 15 years now.
Really? Okay, so a decent amount of time.
13 years,
And you've spent most of your time at what, cruiserweight?
Yep.
Okay.
I've had a couple of heavyweight fights. Never got down to light heavyweight. I don't have the bone structure for that.
Now, it's interesting because WWE used to have what they called the light heavyweight championship, and weight class in wrestling has not always meant the most, but I think the idea was to give some of the smaller guys, because this was at a time when the big 250 plus pound guys, The Rock, Stone Cold, they were the world champions. So WWE decided to create the light heavyweight division. But I've always said to myself, and I think for me, light heavyweight was big, more so in UFC when Liddell and Ortiz made it big. That's always a very specific type of weight class. I've always heard light heavyweight because, it's a little more strict than heavyweight, because heavyweight's kind of, you get the minimum and then you can be as big as you want. But light heavyweight, you have to be a minimum and there's a maximum. But it's still a heavyweight build? Is that kind of what the idea would be?
It just depends on how much meat you got in your bone. I've seen middleweights that are 6'2".
Right.
And they're
power
athletes,
power, yeah.
I've also seen heavyweights that are like 5'8".
There was a guy in the Ultimate Fighter one time. I think it was back when it wasn't when both the Mats were doing it, but one guy, Corey, he was like 6'5", and he was a light heavyweight.
No, 6'5".
Lightweight. I think it was like 120 pounds, like 6'5".
Just really skinny, but he had a lot of power because of the height. So,
Mm-hmm. So Nate gets knocked out by Jake. Jake does what Jake does, and he boasts about himself, even though, let's be honest, no offense to Nate Robinson, it's not like he knocked out an actual champion of boxing, But now he's calling out people like McGregor and this and that. I think he dropped Mayweather's name in the post-fight interview. Mayweather has agreed to face his brother, Logan Paul.
Who actually, to give Logan credit, actually takes it a bit more seriously than his brother.
Okay, so...
Yeah.
So my fiance Allison is big into the YouTube world. For those of you that don't know, Logan is actually hated in the YouTube world because he went to the suicide forest in Japan and he filmed one of the dead bodies, and he basically poked fun at it.
Disrespectful.
Logan's channel was definitely hurt because of that. Logan's never really recovered from it, but
it was suspended for a little bit.
Yeah, it was suspended for a while. Logan. Surprisingly, Allison has said, though, Logan has tried over the years to, I think, be a little better. Jake's just been a dick the whole time. Jake is just a complete asshole and nobody cares. But no, Logan has kind of sort of gotten a little bit better at himself. He's tried to repair the image. Sadly, he's still kind of a dick, so I think it's more YouTube forcing him to do it. But my question to you is this. We have Mayweather... Question the record or not, it's 50-0. 50-0 is 50-0, and he's had some fairly high-profile fights in his career. And
that's an understatement.
Well, there, ever so fairly.
That's just a matter of that's a matter of opinion, there, Zach.
Can I explain this though?
Best defensive fighter in the world is definitely.
I agree, but okay. So I was going to ask you a little bit. Boxing history for Mayweather. Do you feel that Mayweather can be considered a dodger in his career? Did he dodge certain people, or was it because you're the guy that told me he fixed the boxing world in the sense that he made it about the fighter was in charge. The fighter's the one really making the money with everything. So, but my question to you is, was he dodging guys because he didn't want to lose, or is it he always saw the dollar amount go up if he pushed it a couple of years? Because obviously the Pacquiao fight has been wildly criticized, not because of the actual fight, although there was a lot of criticism. I've watched that fight 3-4 times. I gave that to Mayweather every time. I don't think Pacquiao won that fight. Yes, Pacquiao was hurt, but you take the fight, you take the fight. If you don't pull out, then that's on you. But my question to you is, for Mayweather, can you call him a dodger, or was it always business to him?
Before you answer that, can I jump in real quick?
It's open forum to anybody here. I mean,
no, it's okay because I think that's a fair question. Even someone like myself, I'm big into the fight game. I've actually seen a couple of your fights when you're amazing. So when he told me you were gonna be on the show, I was like, I'm actually excited to talk boxing, like for real. I think it's more for him. It's been more wait to see where the money's going to be for that fight than dodge. But I think it's more 75% wait and 25% dodge. And here's what I mean. I do think they should have had that fight with Pacquiao. He should have had that fight way earlier than he did.
I would say 5 years.
Yeah, for sure. Because I always thought I'm like, well, the longer he waits, so the more of a chance he's going to win. Because Pacquiao took more of a pounding in his career. Because Pacquiao is more of a, he's more of an offensive fighter than what Mayweather is. Mayweather, the big thing for Mayweather is you're not going to hit him. Like you're not going to hit him. He's going to wear you down. And by the time the fight's over, you realize like you didn't get a shot on him. But Pacquiao was more of a power fighter, which is why he's so beloved in this country.
Pacquiao definitely.
Here's what I'd say. I wouldn't say Pacquiao was a power fighter. I would say Pacquiao was a volume puncher.
Okay.
You were just there, you were shot.
And there is a difference. Obviously, there.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you from my experience, when you're in that ring, it doesn't matter how heavy that punch is. Obviously, the heavier punches have a bigger effect.
Yeah.
If you get hit with 10 punches and you have a hard time taking them off,
you're
not gonna hit with 10 punches.
Now, okay. Here's my question to you. Right.
That's
now,
true.
now, Jesse mentioned, and I would say that there's not much of a debate. He is probably the greatest defensive fighter of all time because I've never seen a guy that won 50 fights and came out of it and still probably looks and yeah, exactly. So, but my question to you is, what is more physically demanding as the opponent, missing that many punches or getting hit by more punches? Because obviously Mayweather is famous for winning the judges, which I think was very rare to do in boxing up until I think he did it.
Here's what I'll say. Mayweather is a phenomenal is boxing done well.
Yeah.
Hit and don't hit. At the end of the day, that's what boxing is.
Yes.
You do it tactically.
Yep.
You make them miss, you make them pay. Mayweather did it very well. Unfortunately, it's not a spectator sport.
Yep.
No. Yeah. No. But when you're paying $100 for a pay-per-view buy,
that's why boxing is a special sport.
And that's why.
It's not one of these grotesque, violent things that you get.
Yeah.
I feel that you get a lot with MMA. You see somebody eat the same kick as a field goal or a spinning head kick.
Yeah.
You see somebody get choked out. You want to see grotesque entertainment and violence.
But most people live on the. Yeah. But most people live on the.
It's a thinking man's sport. It really is.
Yeah, exactly. But most people kind of live on the idea of YouTube highlights these days, and I think boxing is able to build fights on power punches versus what the actual fight ends up being.
The 90s.
Yeah.
Nowadays, people want to see boxing done well.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So were you satisfied with the last heavyweight championship fight? Were you satisfied with that?
Not so much. Admittedly, I'm not the biggest boxing fan.
No.
Not so much the biggest boxing fan. I don't sit down and watch.
Right. No.
Any sports at all. I'd rather get up and go do that.
Right. No.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Exactly.
Yeah.
With the heavyweight fights, it's not the most exciting weight class to watch.
Not anymore.
Me being a cruiserweight, like
Yeah. No. Yeah.
on the edge of, like,
Well, that's where wrestling comes in the sense that the reason why the cruiserweight division was kind of the difference in the old WCW shows was it was Mexico, it was Lucha Libre, it was the high flyers.
And to be fair, it was way more exciting because the guys.
Yeah. Nowadays,
they're not much.
Yep. About 205 pounds is what they do. The
205,
cruiserweight
Yeah,
now.
205 or less.
That's what Darren is trying to get to.
Yeah.
But yeah, Rey Mysterio was one of the most well known. He's my height
And probably
weighs a lot.
Ray, I could
And
probably lift Ray and carry him around for a while because I don't think Ray goes about 180 right now.
You can almost compare him to a Floyd Mayweather in the sense that he used his lucha libre style as more of a defensive style and molded it. It has molded it for the last 25.
Oh, I think that's fair because remember,
people.
Boxing, as you pointed out here, Al, it's not what people think it is all the time, and the media maybe doesn't always promote it the correct way. In wrestling, Ray is one of the few Mexican superstars who has survived on American-style television for over 20 years because Ray has been able to adapt. And obviously, I think one of the most important words in your sport of boxing is adaptation because, I mean, they always say styles make fights. That comes from boxing, but styles can also hurt one person involved in said fight. I think what I talked to you about a while back was going back to what you said 5 years, Pacquiao Mayweather. I think take out Canelo Alvarez, insert Pacquiao when Alvarez faced Mayweather. Now I think you have the correct Pacquiao fight. And then I think 5 years later, Canelo is now, I think, widely considered better than he was when he first got in the ring with Mayweather.
Oh, for sure.
But, at the time, I felt Canelo
He was pretty young in that fight, wasn't he?
He didn't match up with Mayweather at that point.
15, I think.
Yeah. Right,
yeah.
It's a lot of it is, the art of timing. That's another it's a great discipline to have.
Yeah.
Obviously one in all of sports.
Yeah.
In all of business as well.
Yeah.
You're working on things where you need that attention. You need people to spend their money, their hard-earned money on that ticket. Somebody wants to sit front row to see this fight. You need to get that attention. You've got to build it up.
Yeah.
There's got to be time to build up the fight.
And I feel like Mayweather, as I said, sort of redoing the idea of the boxing game because it used to be you had a promoter and then you had a fighter, and I think a lot of boxing history is the fighters got taken advantage of certain promoters. That's well documented.
Which is unfortunate,
but Mayweather was like one of the first guys where it's like 100 million, 120 million, and people were bashing him with the Conor situation, but Conor came to his world. Mm-hmm. There's a reason why Mayweather was getting the larger end of that purse was because Mayweather was largely the one promoting the fight because it was his world.
Yeah.
Conor can be Conor and sell hundreds of thousands of pay-per-view buys, but to try to convince the boxing world to watch Conor come over, Conor's not going to be the guy doing that.
Yeah, and he got knocked out last night too.
Yeah.
Mayweather got the shit end of that stick on the entire promotion simply because he gave somebody a shot that I don't feel.
Probably not.
No. And that's fine, but that's why I've said fairly high profile fights because I feel like Mayweather has always given people the fight they want, but never at the right time. But again, I'm the business defender on the show, as these guys will definitely say. So I understand having to sell pay-per-view buys, having to sell tickets.
Yeah.
So, but now in an exhibition, look, if anyone out there thinks Logan Paul, I mean, boxing.
Oh no. Let's get two things right, people. Number one, that boy's gonna get worn out in the first round, and I'll give it a minute and a half. Like I give it a minute and a half. It's gonna I already paid my $45 to watch that.
Well, Logan's gonna come out
get worn out.
I guarantee you, Logan's gonna come out and try to throw punches.
It's gonna be Floyd Mayweather's first knockout. That boy's gonna get finished. But please continue. Man, he's gonna be done.
He's gonna be spent.
Because even though Floyd's Floyd's like 51 now, but Floyd can still move like he's 38. Like he's gonna wear this boy out. Like
I heard that
he took the fight,
I've never seen Floyd not come into a fight where he at least looked like he was ready for it.
Like he's gonna wear this boy. I don't even understand why this boy took the fight. But the moment he took the fight after and my whole thing with his brother knocking out Nate was he just embarrassed black people to me. Like, bro, why would you take that fight?
Well, that's what Shannon Sharp said. That's what Shannon Sharp said the very next day.
Oh, my.
We need our pound of flesh back, so we'll take the brother. We'll take the brother.
Cause bro, you could have lost that fight because you couldn't hit the kid, no problem.
Yeah.
But like, damn, the boy knocked you out, like for real. Like we got we start Trump and I was like, damn, we taking L's all over the place, bro. Like, come on.
But on the same note, as far as the sport is concerned, he actually stepped in there and did it on a very large stage.
That's very true.
So I was.
And it was a larger stage because of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I went. The biggest crowd I've been in front of was 3,500 people.
Yeah.
So I went overseas and I got up in front of 10,000 people.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? I'm telling you, that's a mental.
Yeah.
And especially when it's not something he's never done before.
Yeah.
So to have that many witnesses.
Does the NBA thing factor in at all? The fact that he was in 20,000 people arenas for as long as he was, Nate Robinson. I mean, like, does that factor in at all?
How would it?
Oh, to maybe his mental preparation.
Yeah. No, that's my point.
I wouldn't think so.
So no. So solely my question is yes or no. Because he's going into a different style of sport, because it's a completely different thing, it means nothing. Okay. Yeah. So
I'd say it doesn't mean anything because regardless of the size of the crowd, he's never done this before.
Okay. No.
True.
So the way that's gonna play mentally is like, I hope I'm doing this right. I don't want to embarrass myself.
Yeah.
And then embarrass
yourself. If you go into a fight with any of that in your thought,
Yeah.
Like obviously your energy and your actions will gravitate towards that. Am I supposed to be here or like?
Well, that's what I've always said.
Yeah,
going back to Conor, as I think Leroy and Jesse pointed out, last night got knocked out by a guy that he dominated the first time, but the guy admitted. Look, Conor wins 90% of his fights before the fight even starts because Conor is one of the greatest hype man of all time in all of fighting. So obviously the mental aspect does play a role in getting in there. Now, you were obviously overseas. You had never even fought, I think. Had you fought in a different state before?
Oh, yeah. Plenty.
What was the farthest state from Minnesota you'd fought in?
Oh, for an actual fight?
Yeah. Before the fight over in Europe. What's the
thing of it? I've trained in many different states.
Right, yeah.
Never had actual fights.
Okay.
That's what it is.
Yeah. Okay.
I've done 8, 10, 12 rounds.
So then you take a fight, and by the way, your team did an amazing job keeping the Facebook audience updated, like the entire time.
I had no idea. I clocked off the whole day.
I understand that. That is. You're the fighter. You worry about hitting people. Yeah, there you go.
My coach, he does not do social media.
Yeah.
So it was really cool to
You were working with John, because John. Yeah. John. No, I worked with John a lot when in semi-pro football. Yeah. We obviously had you at one of the games for the coin toss and everything. But you take this fight. what is your first thought of the fact that you are traveling not just to his house but to his country? What was? Okay, yeah, no, yeah, perfect. No, that's great. I love it.
I'm not supposed to win this fight.
Right, yeah.
I might as well make it tough.
Yeah.
Or do the best I can. And it was, again, like we had spoken, it was short notice. I had, 15 games.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
All right.
Did he have somebody pull out of the fight? Is that why you took it? Okay.
Wow. He had a claimed injury, 15, 20 days before the fight. And, I literally got off the couch.
Yep.
Put my beer down.
Yeah. Well, clink. Oh, shit. All right. There you go.
That's the time you sit there.
I did. Yeah, gotta go. So now,
wow.
That's the true moment. Hold my beer.
It was in Poland. Okay, so you and I were talking.
That one's in Poland.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, we were talking about the crowd earlier before Jesse got here, and Jesse, you and I obviously watch a lot of New Japan style wrestling. Now, Al and I started this whole conversation in the fact that you were telling me about the crowd, and your word would be stoic for the crowd. It was still
not the Poland fight, but the Russia fight. Yeah, it was the Russia fight first.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Fight first. And I'm telling you, I didn't know what the venue looked like. I didn't even bother. I just wanted to train.
Yeah.
So we trained for it. I said, okay, look at this height. Okay, got about the 6 foot sparring partner. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Great, right? And then we get out there, and we're experiencing everything. There's obviously a language barrier.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Traded out my American cash for the Russian rubles.
You were rich, apparently, at that point.
$100 American dollars is about 5,500 Russian rubles.
Woo! All right, there you go.
Damn.
What am I doing? Okay. Yeah, there you go.
Let it rain. Let it rain.
What's interesting was right when we got off the plane, I was still just like, it was 43 hours of travel.
Woo! Oh, I bet, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And the adrenaline's not helping you sleep at all.
We get off the plane, I look like I've been on hard drugs. The media, boom, right there with a camera in my face.
Well, they were just like straight up, yeah.
They were like right there, shakedown style.
Was he like a now? Okay, he obviously wasn't the Klitschko brothers. But was he a fairly big guy at his level over there?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, he was a national champion.
Really? Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It
now
was his ninth pro fight, but he had like 300 or 400 after.
Oh really? Okay. So okay. Now, okay, for those people who might be listening who will get confused, because obviously there's a big deal in Japan of when guys go from young lion to the main roster.
Yeah.
What exactly declares you becoming professional versus amateur? Is it literally just you decide?
Over here in America,
yeah.
You literally go off the couch, go sign up, and you go jump in a fight. It's someone wants to fight.
Yeah.
Over there, it's more like a rite of passage.
Oh, really? Okay.
You become a national.
So that's the New Japan idea.
Yep.
You win a national champion. This could have been winning them for a while. You don't have 300 fights.
No.
I had like 50 or 70.
Right.
I jumped in.
And those amateur fights still count as experience. That's not something that you can. Yeah.
You're still boxing.
Yeah.
But everything in the clothes is much faster.
Right.
It's a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
The gloves, it's like wearing 2 pairs of chocolates. You no longer have the headgear. You don't have a shirt.
Right.
So, you got to be dialed in and you turn professional.
Yeah.
And before that first 5 to 7 fights, we'll say, it feels like aggressive amateur boxing.
Mm-hmm.
It's not much. But when you hit that 10 fight mark, and now your ranking starts to climb a little bit.
Yeah.
You get to that top, 50% of winners in your country, they're looking.
Yeah.
Now they're paying attention. So we get to 10.
Because the idea of the young lion over in Japan is they go to the dojo, and I believe they spend now. Is it a full year in the dojo normally?
It's a year. Sometimes it's 2. It just depends on the guy.
Yeah. And then they'll send you off for excursion
for about a year.
For about a year. So
sometimes longer if they need you to learn more and more before they bring you back.
So what you probably experience on American television with wrestling is WWE will sign a former football player or former this. Actually, interesting story. Darren Corbin from Minnesota, his brother, Baron Corbin, who's in the WWE, he's actually a former Golden Gloves boxing champion. So when...
Yeah, Kansas City.
Yeah, in Kansas City. He's a former offensive lineman in the NFL. So they obviously show off a lot of the athleticism he has as a big guy. He doesn't throw a lot of punches because that's not kind of the style of wrestling they want him to portray. But it always comes up from the commentators is when someone starts throwing hands with him, it's like, y'all need to be careful because this dude has some real credentials. Oh my God. But no, so what ends up happening is so Corbin got signed to NXT, which is developmental in WWE, and they kind of fast tracked him a little bit. All of a sudden he's on the main roster, this and that. In Japan, it's more the boxing style in that people legitimately are not allowed to even hit the main show until they've done all these things. And what's interesting is if you ever watch Japanese style wrestling, there's a hell of a lot more people at ringside.
Yeah.
Where in WWE, you've got the referee, you've got the commentators, and then you've got about 4 or 5 camera people. Yeah. There's about 20 to 30 people at ringside in a New Japan style match. Interesting story. Almost 15 to 20 of those people, those are actually the young lions. They're there watching the stars, the aces, all those people, and they're there in case of injury. They're there in case of this. Sadly, part of your initiation is sometimes
to get beat up by Minoru Suzuki.
Suzuki Gun is where young lions are like, you really want to do this? You really want to do wrestling? Because this is how you do it.
They like
Minoru Suzuki's kind of.
It's like, you come here, we kick your butt.
Suzuki loves to do lions.
He's also a former MMA fighter.
He is. Yeah.
One of the big interviews he did was like 4 years ago, where he talked about why he does that and his group does that. It's to get those young guys to understand, like in wrestling, you take real shots. Like so, it hurts like hell. So it almost like he was saying, it almost goes back to you guys having to perform a lot of amateur fights before you can even get to the professional level.
Yeah. Oh gosh, yeah. And especially over there, the instant you win, to my understanding, the instant you win a national title there, as an amateur, you're now sponsored by the country. Really? Okay. That's now your job.
Yeah.
Right.
That's why they have these massive amateur records.
Yeah.
These like very small.
Yeah. So you get there. You're ready for the fight. Are you still on hard drugs, or are we finally kind of acclimated to where we're at?
So my thought when I'm traveling overseas is you fall asleep when it's time to fall asleep there.
Well, okay, so funny story. When the Vikings...
I agree with that
exactly.
one, too.
When the Vikings... When the Vikings played the Pittsburgh Steelers over in the UK a few years ago, Leslie Frazier was actually still their coach. He hired a sleep specialist, and he had one rule. Stay up as late as possible the first night you're there. Because Europe is obviously very different from America, where over here it's a minority in the sense of someone will call you and say, hey, what are you doing tonight at 2 a.m.? Over there, that's the norm. 2 a.m., it's like, what are you doing tonight? Because, hours there are very different. So you went to bed, there, and then was it one sleep? Was it two? Like how quickly did you feel like yourself? Really? Okay, so...
Because I stayed up for that 42 hours.
Yeah.
42 hours watching the clock.
Right.
So obviously, like, we're traveling somewhere, we were going back in time or something like that.
Yeah.
We're going against the
Yeah.
Traveling over the Pacific.
So, it was that on the clock. On the actual timer, it was like a good day.
Really? Okay. Okay, so yes, so not terrible.
Like, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, you trying to find a job.
And
Always ask you, where's your passport? In a different language. What is your passport? American?
Yeah.
It was like, you're dealing with that language.
Were you guys taken care of well as the opponent? Were you guys taken care of fairly well?
I've never been treated so well.
Really?
I've never been treated. I haven't been treated better at Blackbird Casino.
Oh. Yeah.
I'm like, it was very interesting for me, being a black man, even up here in Upper Minnesota.
Right. Yeah.
Like a raised on the bowl of Cheerios here. Same concept over there.
Yeah.
But you're not seen as like odd around a place there. They're like, oh, you're not from here. What can we help you?
See, I think.
Like,
See, I think that's the misconception that, and by the way, folks, Al, congratulations. You were on the very first episode of this show that is Cheeto free. The very first episode that is Cheeto free. And yeah.
Kinda.
There are no blonde Cheetos in the White House. I just want to point that out, America. We are very excited on this show. But I think that's the misconception that people get, is that when you go over there and you are facing someone who, as you said, is now sponsored by the country, the nationality, they are looking at you in the same respect as you look at another boxer. They're viewing you through those kind of glasses. Is that you are here to perform at something that they respect very heavily. Is that kind of where I'm going at?
It's a much higher respect. They hold boxers and fighters in a much higher regard there, and it's you don't get any of the harder edge personalities. You don't get like the disrespect.
Yeah.
It's held to a very high standard, a very high respect.
I think
to everyone that competes.
I think what is unique in you saying that is okay. So I always use this example when it's American versus outside America. So let's take Kitchen Nightmares for a second. Stay with me for a second, Gordon Ramsay. If you watch his UK version of the show, it's more about the food. There's not a lot of arguments. There's not a lot of personality, but that's kind of the way UK television works. Is that in America, the American version, it's a lot more him butting heads with the owners of the restaurants, because Americans, and sadly I think this is a reality TV show problem, is that we like confrontation, we like characters, and I feel like Mayweather would not have gotten as big in America if he wasn't the character that he was, and he had to play the villain a lot because I feel like a lot of people wanted Alvarez, they wanted Pacquiao, but then he came out as the villain.
You're right. People do love conflict, especially when it's televised and it's advertised.
Absolutely.
There's so much more focus on entertainment than skill.
Right.
And athleticism.
Which obviously is different overseas because they wanted to watch you fight.
Yeah, they want to see the fight. They don't want to see all this, this tough guy stuff. Like, over here, it's all about entertainment. How many viewers can you get? How many hits can you get online? How many followers can you get? It's more or less about entertainment and numbers.
And that's kind of how New Japan runs. Whereas with New Japan, the crowd is normally quiet. I feel like guys like Jericho and Omega got reactions, but that's because they're obviously Westerners.
Jericho probably mostly got reactions because of
beating up the ace.
It would be like Floyd going to Russia. He might get more of a reaction just because they know who he is. But otherwise, I think that
Westerners
that
in
crowd
New Japan have to work 4 times harder as Gaijins, because you are trying to prove yourself. I would say Prince David got some of the most vitriol hatred, but that's when Bullet Club obviously first came out.
He also went through their dojo, but I think
he was running the dojo at one point.
Wasn't he? I think so. But that's actually a good correlation between what you probably experienced and what Westerners experience going to New Japan Pro Wrestling. Is that over there they actually respect the sport. And now New Japan has become more entertainment based nowadays, but really they're
trying to break into the American market.
True,
so obviously,
true. But when they started,
they
were
whatever
very
we
much
want.
like
America's
boxing.
still the entertainment capital of the world.
Oh, there's no doubt about
that's
that.
the idea. But my whole thing about it is, so okay, we have the fight. You're in the middle there. What exactly was the crowd like once the fight started? Were they? I mean, was it still sort of a sporadic stoicness, or did they finally come unglued?
Oh no, they were cheering for their guy.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I was definitely not the hometown. They let me know that. I'm sure I was surprised to get a few claps. And it was loud. I mean, 10,000 people was not a quiet.
No.
And there were 5 other world titles on that though.
Wow.
So this was a pretty big card for them.
It was huge.
Okay.
Wow.
We were in the cab on the way to the venue, and I hadn't looked up the venue at all.
Yeah.
An event center.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
When you say event center, you think bingo hall.
For real.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nah, this shit is like. It made the deck look like a cave.
Wow.
Oh, I bet.
That's what, 2,800, 3,000 people right
Around that, yeah.
Yeah, this was 10,000.
Yeah.
What is the deck, like 3 tiers? This was
Yeah. Okay,
Wow.
so.
TV cameras, it was everything. It was a 10-minute walk to get from the car to our locker room.
Good lord.
Security, the whole 9 yards, camera in the face.
So would you call it like old school American Fight Night when weekly boxing was on cable? Would you call it more like that for them, or was this kind of like a pay-per-view style night for them?
Oh, it's definitely pay-per-view.
Okay.
Oh, yeah,
I was
no,
gonna say,
this
sounds
is a
So this
pay-per-view
was
show.
Sunday night promoted to. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh, no, this is a very, very high-end show.
But
Like, whoa.
did you feel like Rocky Balboa walking in there, kind of maybe?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, all right.
Oh, yeah.
From the way you're describing it, it was like
Yeah.
we watched this.
Oh, really? Okay.
I had a guy directing me on where I needed to move.
Yeah.
In the ring. It's like, no.
You must go that way.
Yeah.
Some do all this stuff when I get in the ring. It's beautiful. It's so bright. Everything else is a little bit dim, a little bit dark.
Yeah.
Even in that ring, it's like, oh.
Interestingly enough, they used to do that in the old wrestling territory days. I think Jim Herd was the guy that bring the lights to the ring, crowd's dark.
Darken out
Yeah,
the
yeah.
crowd.
Yeah.
Did all of that.
Okay.
I didn't know it was that big of a production.
Yeah.
So I'm over here just like,
They do not want me to win this fight.
No. Yeah. Yeah. What was your opponent's entrance like?
Man, they gave him a 3-minute video.
Oh my god.
All this other crazy. Oh my
Oh,
god. I'm
man.
like, dude, are you serious? I was like, you could've told me.
Okay, this sucks.
But I know if we did, I would have been way more nervous. We were 10 miles away and it looked like a freaking airport.
Okay,
Wow.
yeah.
What's
Yeah.
that over there? I'm like,
What?
right,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was the biggest venue in the entire town, basically.
I would put it close to the country.
Okay. Oh, really?
Yeah, I was about to
Really?
say.
Okay.
Oh wow.
Okay. All right.
Stupid.
I'm about to say, unless you probably went to one of their soccer stadiums,
I'm telling you,
yeah.
that you, oh. I mean, you look it up on YouTube, you can see, even in there, they have the lights and the whole
Yeah.
show and everything going on.
I'm gonna have to look that up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
yeah, you walk out there, the biggest TV screen I've seen in my life was in that thing.
Really?
Wow.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. I'm talking about, it was intimidating just going into the venue. And then I got this big old bastard. They online, they have the centimeters and everything. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
6 feet tall.
Try to convert it. Yeah.
I got 4 6-foot sparring partners.
Yeah.
I'm smoking.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good.
Mhm.
I'm going to go there with some Russian ass. I got out there at the weigh-ins. That big bastard is standing like this. I'm like, what?
Crap.
All right.
All right.
Your voice says.
Yeah.
Woo, he jumps on perfect. I jump on, their scales fucked up. I now have 2 hours to lose that weight.
Oh,
Damn.
wow.
Shit, grab my jumbo.
Yep.
Hell and paying that dude $2,500.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
And so we came back, weighed right on. It's like, dude, I just lost 2 hours of recovery time.
Wow.
Right. Yeah.
Wow.
And this weigh-in, it was hilarious. It was in the middle of the mall.
Yeah.
So that's like where the Rotunda is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine that, but a lot smaller and 2 floors high.
Oh,
Really?
my
Okay.
Goodness.
Man, I'm telling you, okay, this is
Yeah.
for that shit.
Oh, I'm sure.
Me, obviously, I'm a raisin in the bowl of Cheerios.
Yeah.
They know who I am.
Yeah. It wasn't hard to tell you were the fighter.
So we got out there and said overweight. I'm like, oh, shit.
Cool.
So I go sweat the weight off, and I get back on there. Give it a shot again. We have a fight. Good joke, The place just goes nuts, right? We do a little face-off shit,
Yeah.
and then we roll out. The manager's like, hey, Al, what's happening?
Yeah.
So a little detail to add to this thing, I jumped on the scale, I was still a little bit over. When I jumped on the scale, I was my coach, because this happened like two fights before, I was so close.
Yeah.
He was like, hey, just remember your underwear weighs 3 pounds. I'm like,
Right. Okay.
I didn't know that. It's an odd detail to know what's going on. I guess that's his job.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Sure enough, 0.3 pounds over. Never pulled my place. For real, my manager's over here just dying.
I will say this. If you did that in America, I feel like the reaction is different because again, this goes back to the UK idea. Everything over there, they don't bastardize a lot of the things that we do. No. So yes, wait. I think a naked schizophrenic is a naked schizophrenic no matter where you go in the world. But in this particular case, they knew why you were doing it, and they didn't have to have a commentator explain it. They got it.
Zach.
They knew why, but I'm telling you, like even before I even weighed in.
Lincoln Park's a different kind of okay.
Lincoln,
no, I get it.
If it was me, they'd look like, is that guy a boxer? Oh, sorry, I'll put my pants back on.
Bears that comes in from the mountaintop.
Sorry, I'll put my pants back on.
They'd be looking at you and saying, "Where's the unicycle?"
Hey, yeah. Just so you know, there's this group over here that wants to get a picture with you. I'm telling you, there's some beautiful guys.
Oh yeah.
Ugh. And I'm like, all right,
we've all met Lana. We all met Lana.
So we go over there. I go over there, I'm like, hello, how are you? You know. I'm like, hello, big shot. I'm like, yeah, no problem. Guess who took the picture? Their husband.
Oh wow!
Wow.
Damn.
I'm doing some shit like this here, and I'm like leaning from my arm, and I pull her into my chest and whatnot, and she puts her hand on my chest. Oh, yeah.
Hey, this is my husband. Shit.
Yep.
At the end of the day, it's like, man, I am in world-class shape right now. I don't care how dark you
Right, yeah. Right, yeah.
I know people are going to know what the hell's happening if I hope to do that.
Right, yeah.
But anyway, it was the funniest thing that happened out there. I'm like, man, I tell you.
Still rocking, man.
So we get to the fight. We're all hyped up. Now you were talking earlier about speed and like the mental aspect of it. What did it feel like with this guy?
He wasn't the fastest.
Really? Okay.
I don't even think he was the most talented. I think the size and the production of the show is what got me.
Okay.
I wasn't ready for that.
Yeah.
And
so going back to the Nate idea,
exactly.
is that you've been you know now you were the more experienced. Now okay, you clearly weren't the more experienced fighter, but on paper, right, exactly. But
in all reality,
this goes back to the idea.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But this goes back to production, how you sell the fight, persona. That is just as much part of the fight as the actual physical competition. Because remember, when Conor McGregor became Conor McGregor, he beat the guy in 13 seconds. The guy, he was the first person, I don't know if you knew this, he was the first guy to beat him in 10 years. Yeah. Conor McGregor, when he first won the belt. He was Jose Aldo had not lost in 10 years. He beat him in.
That victory for the rest of his career.
Why not?
Going back to your point, though.
Last night. Yeah.
That was last night.
Going
Yes.
Back to your,
yeah.
Last night.
Going back to your point, though, I don't agree because we're talking about people criticizing Nate not being able to do it. I don't think that Jose Aldo should be tweeting about Conor McGregor losing. It's like, dude, you lost in 13 seconds. You're not the guy who should be.
You should stop talking.
Yeah, that's basically the idea.
That dude whooped your ass. You shouldn't have.
Like he took you out in under 30 seconds.
Yeah, right. Going to the point though, if you go back and you watch the pre-fight, because you and I have talked about this before, Conor was loose. He was stretching before the fight. They were doing the the referee was like doing the thing. Conor's stretching. I'm talking. He is down. His back straight. He's got a leg stretched out. Yeah. And Jose is looking straight down. His head looks like 1 billion pounds. His shoulders were slumped. You could tell Josie had never been in this environment. Yeah. Conor was something that Josie had never prepared for. Yeah. I mean, Josie looked like the weight of the world was on his shoulders, and Conor looked like, I lose, I'm still going to go have a beer at the end of this. I could care less. So obviously the mental aspect falls into that. Do you think that that's how Mayweather got to 15-0 was more he built up the 0 on his record more than he built up the double-digit fight victory? Or do you think that I'm not here to take anything away from Mayweather in the ring.
So what I'll say with Mayweather specifically, he is the master of timing, both in action and in management.
Yeah.
He will catch a guy on the way up just before he's at that experience where he can
Alvarez.
be effectively at that level.
Canelo.
You know?
Yeah.
And he's got a loud enough voice where he will get the crowd and get the attention so loud that you weren't ready for it. Same thing happened to me over there.
He's the first guy to average, I think, 100 million for like over 6 fights.
Yeah.
It's amazing what he's done for the sport, and I think he doesn't get credit for a lot of the good that he does.
Is that because of his personal stripe issues? We're not here to delve into his personal life. This is about the boxer.
A little bit of personal stuff, whatever that may entail, but also like with the person that he has to be when he's promoting a fight. It's so easy to criticize a fighter for what they got to say. It's so easy because you got to be aggressive. You're seen as aggressive.
Well, it's like
you disagree with one person, I'll say, well, you don't want to fight. Why you being so
Well, but Conor's the guy. Conor's the guy who we all know pretty much set off Khabib because he mentioned his religion and his wife and everything. But it's like fighter. But I don't think Khabib really hates Conor off camera because Khabib understands fighting.
You go after anybody's religion or culture or any of that, that's a low blow. And that is some stupid shit that's got nothing to do with the sport. Yeah. It's got nothing to do with anything.
Oh, that's always been more entertainment part.
I always thought Khabib was going to win anyway because Khabib, in my opinion, is on another level. I think Khabib could actually get him, and this is no offense to your sport, I think he could get in and strike with a bunch of boxers right now. I'm not talking Mayweather level guys, but he could probably take out some
of the lower.
Respect
for Khabib because I don't like the fact that you got a big head and he deserved it. He's one of the best mixed martial artists.
Oh, he's 29-0 and he's had some big fights.
True, but you lose one fight and you're like, yeah, I think I'm retired. No.
He didn't lose. He's still unbeaten.
No, he lost that fight.
No, he didn't. Khabib's 29-0.
If I jump on.
Yeah.
He's got to look up the research here in the middle of the show, so you go right ahead.
You lose one fight, you're 29-0, you lose one fight and you want to quit. At the end of the day, fighting sport, all sports in general, they're all damaging to the body.
Yeah.
For sure.
That's still 30 fights.
Yeah.
That's true.
30 professional fights. Regardless of all of that, if you can keep climbing and stay healthy and be there for your family and your friends, do that. But if you see that spark of like, who knows? He might have been at 25 wins.
Right.
I already kind of felt that way. But if he can make
that's like
why not?
That's like Vontae Davis was a very good cornerback for a while in the NFL, but then he retired at halftime, and everyone kind of lost respect. But he hadn't just thought about that. Oh, we're getting our asses kicked. He'd been thinking about that probably through training camp and the year. Yeah, exactly. Was just getting your butt beat.
He shouldn't have signed that contract though. But that's different because
that's
boxers, you guys take and football players do take a world of punishment.
Oh yeah.
But you guys don't have the protections that the NFL finally have given them now.
Yeah.
So like for me, when that happened, you brought up Shannon Sharp. I was on his side. Bro, why'd you even sign that contract?
Yeah, exactly.
You have been playing like trash for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Like
Shannon,
you guys signed because 2 of their best starters got hurt.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
You were a veteran, so they pulled you out from your couch.
Yeah,
but it's not like he didn't have like $50 million sitting in the bank. He was okay.
Vontae got paid. Yeah.
Like, come on, man.
Okay. I want to throw some at you because one of the biggest things that has recently happened in women's wrestling was Ronda Rousey came in. Okay. Now Ronda Rousey came in.
She was in WWE.
Yes.
Yeah, she was a pro wrestler.
So Ronda Rousey
not
comes
amateur,
in.
No.
So Ronda Rousey comes into WWE. Yeah, she was kind of on the back nine of her fighting career because she had quote unquote been getting her butt beat, but she should have never fought the way she did against Holly Holm because you're about to stand with a 24-time kickboxing champion and you're a brown belt.
She got cocky. That was the problem there.
The camera will definitely make you soft.
Yep.
But
the thing about it is,
the real enemy.
Do you blame the coach for not looking at her? I mean, is it that simple in the moment that the coach says you're a judo black belt, don't stand with a kickboxer, or do you blame the fighter in that case? The Holly Holmes fight.
I would just say the game plan in general was just off.
Yeah.
I mean, I fought MMA. I fought MMA guys. I fought great boxers. I've had great success against both.
Yeah.
And it's at the end of the day, boxing is very much a team sport. No one person loses. If you watch a lot of my interviews, I always say we.
Yes.
Or us.
Yes.
Or any of that. Because I know damn well I might be the one out there doing it, but it's more like iRobot. I'm doing it because coach sees something I don't see that's right in front of me.
Yeah.
People on TV don't hear what's being yelled to you or even what's being said by the corner man. I mean, it is legitimately you are following a constant game plan that is evolving throughout the fight.
There's been times where I've been in the ring and we mixing up this, that, and the other. He's like, double up. Wow. Okay.
All right. There you go. Yeah.
I'm like, what the hell for? He ain't here. He jumps in with something still real. Wow. I just know.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't see him doing that.
Yep.
It was always a we.
Right. So going back to Ronda came into WWE because of the obvious issues that she had in the fighting game. What I've said about Ronda, and I have not look, Ronda Rousey deserves everything that she's earned in terms of respect and love and admiration. But I feel like Ronda is what she is now because she became bigger when the women's fighting was not at its peak. We hadn't found the Holly Holmes, the Amanda Nunes.
But to be fair,
she was beating people that Kat was probably the fight.
Yeah.
She was a Brazilian who said, "I'm gonna kill you." It was interesting because she was the one who was the McGregor Mayweather during the pre-fight interviews. She was doing all that.
Bellator for a while.
Yeah, she fought in Bellator. She finally faces Rousey, and she's got Rousey, and Rousey's stoic, and then Rousey beats her in like 35 seconds.
Yeah.
But obviously, tapped her out.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, Rousey got to where she is now with WWE because she was never the best. She was just the best of the timing of the sport. So my question to you is who is a boxer that you've always looked at that many of us think was great, but really it was more timing?
Joe Louis.
Really?
Yeah.
So to you, Joe Louis doesn't stand up in terms of boxing. People don't think that he stands
Joe
up,
Louis was before
despite
Muhammad, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah.
Way before. Joe Louis, the reason why I love Joe Louis is that he's a humble champion.
Yeah.
He won a world title multiple times.
He did. No.
Don't worry about what it looked like. He built his entire career during the civil rights
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
It was very quiet. People thought he had a speech impediment. He didn't say much. He was running there, whooped ass, and walked.
Yeah.
Went home, enjoyed his time with his family. Never said a word. Never boasted. Never bragged. He was very humble and very quiet.
Yeah.
And he never got the respect that I feel that he ever deserved.
Was it because of the timing, the civil rights timing, or do you think?
A lot of it was the timing. He dealt with all the same race.
Yeah.
Bullshit that all black men did, but he was still a champion.
Yes.
People, they would set him up just to have him lose. He'd go in there, whoop ass, walk off.
So in your opinion, he's not a product of the timing. He was actually that good. Is what you're saying? Okay. So going back to my question, is there a fighter that we in the combat sports world believe was built up as a great guy, but really wasn't that great? It was just the type of fights he had.
I actually have one to throw out because when you think about this, I was just talking boxing on my radio show with the guy. I've been thinking about Oscar De La Hoya a lot in that question.
Okay.
Because when I think about him, so Oscar was probably one of the smartest fighters I've ever seen, but he damn sure was not the most skilled fighter I've ever seen. This is just from my own eyes when I think back on his career, because now he's going to enter the Legends League that Mike Tyson started, which is why we all got to see Nate Robinson get knocked out. When you think back on
I actually kind of want to still see Tyson fight because he looked good.
He still got power, but he's very slow now. That fight was ugly. Because
not to paraphrase you, but to go to you because they talked about it the next day. Now Skip Bayless is the only guy that I heard say he would like to see Tyson fight not a premier heavyweight right now, but a guy who's got a couple heavyweight fights. Do you think Tyson would win that, or do you think Tyson just can't keep up with a guy who's on the come up?
Because fighting Roy Jones is not like Roy is way past his prime.
I think the two guys, it kind of hurt my soul watching.
Yeah, it did.
That's fair.
It's like you guys are legends in your own right. You don't need to entertain shit.
No, they don't.
Like they've made video games after you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Why are you doing this? Like it hurt me to watch. I couldn't watch.
Do you think it's because they came from an era where they were not able to make the money Mayweather did? Do you think it was a money thing, or do you think these guys are fine money-wise and they can live off those names? Okay.
I had a conversation.
Well, maybe Mike more from the Maybe Mike more from the theater stuff recently, because I know he blew through a lot of that, in his younger days. But
it's true, he blew through in the younger days, but they're both at an age and they're both at high enough respect because of their track record.
Mm-hmm.
That you don't need it.
Okay.
And I respected the thought of the Legends League, which is basically kind of like, hey, giving Legends another shot to come out and entertain. But I agree.
I hate to say it, but it's basically just the senior PGA.
Like the 40, 50 plus is far.
Yeah,
it's painful.
Sad.
Yeah. No, yeah.
Respect to them because they get in the ring and they do.
No, yeah. No, yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
Well, respect goes to a certain point.
Well, and that's why they always
say
say boxing is a young man's game. Like, after a certain point, you got to step away. Yeah.
Before all that stuff, get in the sport.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've looked at you feeling Joe Louis didn't get what he wanted. Now, he deserved fair. That's my Freudian slip there. But now, okay, I feel like Muhammad Ali. We're gonna switch over to a little wrestling now with Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali. Do you think that Muhammad Ali's legacy is more built on? Because yes, there are two legacies there. There's the boxing, and then there's obviously what he did outside of boxing legacy there. But when I just say the name Muhammad Ali, what do you think? Do you think his boxing career gets the respect it deserves, or do you think his boxing career was elevated because of the extracurricular stuff that was going on outside of his career?
Oh, of course, it was elevated because of the things outside of the ring. That's what made him him.
Mm-hmm.
He stood for something.
The
he
goat.
didn't change because of what people had to say.
How great was he as a boxer?
Woo!
As a boxer,
Woo!
I'm
gonna let you talk.
Hold on. Before you answer, we always like to just be very real on the show.
Yeah.
In that I am not taking away
No,
from Ali. I am asking from someone who is a part of the discipline. Was he really that guy?
he was really that.
Okay, and that's fair.
I'm telling you, the athleticism that he would show, the showmanship, he would make you look stupid before the fight, after weigh-ins, during the promo, and in the ring he would back it up and make you look stupid.
Like he was such a better athlete than everybody.
Did you ever watch any of his fights?
What?
Oh my God! Now, yeah.
Did you ever watch any of the Ali Prime
I
fights?
go on about Ali. Oh my God!
No, that was before. No,
okay.
I'm not that old.
He had the audacity to stand for something great.
Yeah.
Yes.
The ring,
Yes.
and it's like, wow. You think of like someone's legacy. Wow. And he did that right there in your face.
Oh yeah.
There was no keyboard warrior or nothing. Just like right in your face.
And he also and it's interesting because I don't want to call out modern day athletes, all of them, but I feel like nowadays modern day athletes will do certain things outside of their prime because they need to maximize the prime of their career. He didn't care. He was in the prime of his career, and he found a way. I'm not putting LeBron James on that level, but I feel like if LeBron James was playing basketball at that time period, LeBron would have done something similar because LeBron's taking similar stances. But the difference is nowadays taking basketball away from LeBron James is considered bad, whereas back then taking boxing away from Ali was not as vitriol as I think modern day media.
I just want to hop in real quick. There's actually, when people sometimes compare him to Ali, there's actually nothing wrong with the comparisons in this sense. Unfortunately, it's not unfortunate. I mean, the information wave that we get from social media is great.
Yeah.
Sometimes not good, but mostly great because you get information like this. It's instantaneous. Yeah. The problem for him is that he does so much besides being the best basketball player in the world. And yes, people, he is the best basketball player in the world, even though he's 35.
I agree. It's 36.
So yeah, that's right.
36. He just turned 36.
Yeah.
KD, think about this. Now, with
He's
the way
still
the
young.
Nets are, KD will, if KD wins a championship this year over LeBron, to beat LeBron James, he's had not one, not two, not three, but four of possibly the all-time greatest players just to beat one 36-year-old. He needed Steph, Clay, James Harden, and Kyrie Irving just to beat one guy.
For sure. But here's the thing. So, and it's different because...
We'll get to Inoki here in a second.
The civil... Yeah, because I know you got to get out of here. The civil rights era and what Ali did, it's just, God rest Hank Aaron's soul, the things that they've done for us as black people it cannot. It will never be duplicated.
I want to point
but
out.
what LeBron does.
I want to point out.
Funny.
It's a side note. I felt like a member of my family died when Hank Aaron passed away.
Yeah,
because I did a project on that man when I was in middle school, and I wanted to delve into this because sadly this is good that it happened before you because we can bring it up, but sadly he has passed away. May he rest in peace. In my opinion, the true home run king, just because of
steroid era.
Yeah, exactly. But here's my thing. You talk about the way Ali handled it. Is it safe to say that Hank Aaron is the 180 in how he handled the same type of racism? Because Hank Aaron, okay, this is what I got from it. Hank Aaron handled things not in power, but in quiet. He quietly broke a record. He handled everything perfect. Now, I hate using the word professionalism because there's many different layers to professionalism, but Hank Aaron felt that's how he had to be a professional, was to not react. Ali felt to be himself, he had to react. Would you say that they're polar opposites in how they handled it?
I would say they're polar opposites. Everybody's got their own style of doing things. I think in a sport that's as naked as boxing is,
yeah,
where like you're literally fighting someone hand to hand. The only protection you got is on your balls and on your hands.
Yep.
Do you have to hate your opponent in boxing in some way? Do you have to find that? Okay, no, and that's fair.
And I think it's just it's like asking if basketball and football are the same.
Yeah.
I mean, they're both sports. That's about where they're comparison.
Okay. Yeah.
With Ali, he was outspoken because he could.
Fair.
And it's not a team sport.
Fair. Okay. All right.
Aaron,
yeah.
One guy on a team of
20-some guys.
50 guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yes, he stood for something more. But on the same note, it's again differences in technology there as well.
Fair enough.
How loud could his voice be?
That is true. All right. So interesting because we talked about this early on. The beginning of what is modern day MMA is actually traced back to Ali, which I think a lot of people don't realize, and one of Jesse's all-time favorites, Antonio Inoki. Now, okay, Inoki is credited with creating the modern day Japanese-style wrestling, along with Baba.
Mm-hmm.
But I told you this a little bit off camera, but we'll talk about me and Jesse, or we'll give you a little more history. Baba was more NWA actual wrestling style.
Yeah.
Inoki was always more shoot style.
Yes.
Now, so Inoki decided to. I think it was in '76.
Yeah.
So 70. Yes. So 76. Inoki decides he wants to become the mixed martial artist. He wants to become the greatest. Now, okay, Inoki's training is actually from Carl Gotch, legendary catch wrestling icon. Mm-hmm. He wants to fight people from other styles. He brings in Ali for a fight, 15 rounds. Now, this is the biggest fight that Inoki has ever promoted.
It's an MMA style fight.
Well,
it's not a boxing match.
No. MMA. This is the beginning of MMA. This is what a lot of historians point to the beginning. 15 rounds. I think it did like 20 million buys at that point.
Something like that. It was a pretty big worldwide event.
Yeah, no, I mean, Inoki had promoted this to the world. Now, you have your team. You always say we, not me. Now, books have been written, all these things. Ali is sort of credited as the one that made it crap to some people because his people kind of looked there and said, we can't have him lose. But Inoki's people did this. They're both guilty of it because it probably shouldn't have happened the way that it did. The original plan, non-shoot, was Ali would knock out the ref, and then Ali would get counted out because in wrestling we have a 10 count outside the ring. Not
basically,
in the ring.
At first they wanted to script it, and then like 2 weeks before it happened, they both decided, you know what, that would actually be a disservice to probably both of us. We should just shoot fight. And then they tried to agree on the terms of that. The terms of it changed apparently 8 hours before the fight started.
They were changed every 8 hours until the bell. It was
and
it was bad.
And then what happened was probably one of the worst but yet best events as far as combat sports.
The Dome was sold out.
Yes.
I want to point this out. Japan, I believe front row was like 15,000 yen.
Yeah.
Which is like about 3,500 American. So I mean, back in those days, who knows what inflation would be now? But I mean, the place was sold out. But the overall fight, is sadly more famous for Inoki being on his back most of the time.
The butt scoot.
Yeah, the butt scoot. Because Ali wore boxing gloves. He didn't wear fighting gloves. So, I mean, and actually, interesting story here. We were talking about Ali and the athleticism. Inoki is actually credited with taking away a lot of that athleticism because Ali was hospitalized due to blood clots because the only thing that the rules basically turned into allowing was the leg kicks from Inoki, which if any of us if any of us have ever done anything
Wow.
Instant text message.
I want to point something out. We are legitimately breaking news. You are getting a text about
fighting.
About a potential.
And again, it's like post-pandemic. It was illegal to
Oh yeah.
It's like, well, everybody's looking. We were shut down a little bit before this. It's like,
That's crazy.
No. We have no proof. Turn the camera off. Anyway. So that is a legendary beginning of boxing to MMA style thing. The highlights I don't think you want to watch because it's not really endearing to what Ali did. But I do want to ask a question about the idea of the blood clots taking away. If Ali didn't have 2-3 years of blood clots in his legs, because I mean I'm sure you understand what that injury would do to your legs. Do you think Ali could have fought at a higher level longer, or do you think that Ali's career ended at the time that it was supposed to? Was it physically for Ali, or do you think Ali mentally was just done?
I think it was mentally he was just over it. Physically, dude, how are you gonna punch somebody that's laying on the ground?
That's fair. That's fair.
That's kind of hard.
Legs never had the chance to build up the durability to take a leg kick.
Yeah.
Look at McGregor this the other night.
Yep.
Like, schmuck, dog.
Yeah.
And he felt like some half-ass slur.
Yep.
Ali never had the building up.
Well, the last heavyweight fight, the Gypsy King versus I forget.
Oh God, the other embarrassment.
Yeah. Wilder. Yes, thank you, Wilder. Here's my question.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
Do you believe Wilder?
Answer your question earlier. Wilder's that dude.
Okay. Yeah. Do you blame the ring gear? Can you blame the ring gear on that, or do you blame he just didn't have the legs because he didn't work on his legs?
What kind of shit shape were you in that a freaking costume was gonna weigh you
Oh
down?
my God.
We also funny story. I don't know if I told you this. So okay. A few years ago, I don't know, but Edge, kind of a famous named wrestler, he had to stop wrestling due to a neck issue. Edge came back at the Royal Rumble the year that fight happened, Wilder, last year. What was so funny is Wilder blames the gear for being 40 pounds. Edge's jacket when he came back, mind you, Edge had been out of the ring for 5-7 years. He said it was 45, 50 pounds. I'm like, how is Edge did more physical than you did if you think about it, because he's running around a ring with 30 other guys.
Yeah, but he took it off right away and then ran to the ring. So.
Yeah, but he still had to walk up the stairs with it. This is a freaking baseball stadium.
Slow.
Yeah.
I thought he could just win that on pure talent, but I know you got to get out of here. Yeah. I'm not even gonna get into that damn.
We got 2 more things here with Al, which is gonna be a lot of fun. Number 1, we are gonna go to. We were talking about racial, stuff going on, and obviously, all of us live in Minnesota. George Floyd was a big scenario. We actually talked about George Floyd on the show shortly after that had happened. So right now in wrestling, we have a situation. We'll definitely get to that. Right now in wrestling, we have a situation where something is happening in wrestling racially that I think has never really happened. And I wanted to ask yours and Jesse's thoughts. So right now, Jesse, we have the New Day in wrestling. New Day is very power, positivity. We like video games. We're happy-go-lucky, this kind of thing. But the Hurt Business, MVP, Bobby Lashley, Cedric Alexander, Shelton Benjamin, they look like Evolution in a way. Suits, very stoic, very, and
Take him very serious.
So it's sort of taking themselves more seriously than New Day, and they've had crossovers with that. Wrestling has been known to present black people where the only way back in the day I think a black person got over was they had to be happy. They had to be happy-go-lucky. They had to be positive no matter what happened. Do you think that any audience would be a little bit turned off from the fact that they're being presented in a way that is probably new to them? So my question to you is, how do you think a wrestling fan should think when something totally new is being put in front of them. I'm not saying that they should think of the blacks as a side joke, because obviously Kobe won the world title. He deserved that. First ever actual fully black man to win the WWE Championship. Deserved it. I love Kofi. But, Kofi, as you and I talked about, he's not The Rock. No. He's not The Rock where he stays the world champion. You give it to him because he has that legacy. Yeah. But The Rock was a guy where, okay, so a prime example is we have 3 main black groups in professional wrestling history. Nation of Domination.
Actually, how they portray themselves, this is a black group, like that. Is that what they promote?
No, it's not promoted. It's just all black guys. Now, the Nation of Domination. We told you that we had an interview with D'Lo Brown. D'Lo has said, yes, we were presented as. I would say Black Panther would be a good way to say the Nation of Domination.
Definitely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No. Fists in the air, everything. They were very serious. They wore the Nigerian flag.
They also had like 2 small white dudes they actually had for like security.
Yeah.
It was wild. That shit was.
Nation of Domination was great.
Oh yeah.
It was like the late '90s. It was wild.
Yeah.
Man.
So.
You answer the door.
Yep. Now I will say this. What I learned from D'Lo was it was just guys who were friends, they loved each other, and they enjoyed being themselves. Yeah. Now, New Day, while they are being presented in a very joking manner, I feel like that's who they are.
Yeah.
I feel like all 3 guys are just who they are. That's what they want to be, because Big E's a national treasure. That man is I love Big E.
I do.
But now you have the Hurt Business where they're being presented as more Nation of Domination than the New Day. So my question to you, Al, is it good or bad to younger African-American people to see New Day, or is it more Hurt? Does that matter, or do you think that black people or white people, do you think people should just be themselves, and that's a better performance?
My thing is it's tough to say what's better for anyone. I'm not a spokesperson.
No. Yeah.
I speak to my own experience.
Mm-hmm.
I mentor and coach.
Yeah.
So
there's no right or wrong way to present someone?
No right or wrong. The only right or wrong way is not accepting who people are.
Okay, and that's fair, because like I said, you look at Xavier.
Bruce was looking at them and trying to pass judgment. That's the first time they should check themselves.
Yeah.
And and that's fair, and that's fair, and I'm not trying to create a judgment. I'm just asking because, again, people thought that the New Day was going to be the Hurt Business, and then they came out with the unicorns and the breakfast cereals and the pancakes. But that's who those guys are. That's just who they ended up being.
They're marketing geniuses.
So smart. They sold so much merchandise. Oh my God, they made money. So
good old Budios.
But now I want Al to respond to what Jesse's going to say here. My question to you is, Raw's ratings are obviously in the tank. We all know that. Raw's not the most watched show. People kind of think it's one of the worst wrestling shows. Do you think the Hurt Business is hurting the old school wrestling view of people?
No.
Because black guys are
no.
So
in the past,
okay,
So I'll make it quick.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's not what's hurting Raw. What's hurting Raw is the fact that everything else, because one, it's a 3-hour show. It is very hard to keep people attention for 3 hours.
I love the Hurt Business, by the way.
Even boxing shows that go for 3 hours, if the whole card ain't good, trust me, people will leave. Yup, you don't give a damn.
You definitely are, yeah.
You'll come back for the main fight. You don't give a
damn.
No
beer for you. You're about to go to training camp. I'm not getting that phone call that we want to start.
But yeah,
I'm not getting that phone call.
I think we could both tell you as black men. No, it definitely wouldn't. They're probably one of the better things going on, and I'm sure we'll get into Raw a little bit more. But yeah, it's for me, Raw is in the toilet because it's more about, you can't keep people's attention for the 3 hours, even though you have a 3-hour show. So guess what? People don't want to watch. That's usually just how that goes.
I've brought this up many times. It's very interesting because when I saw Evolution, Triple H, Randy Orton, Ric Flair, Batista, all technically white, Batista,
half Samoan.
Half Samoan. I just feel like it's interesting because I can't remember a fully black group that's been presented like the Hurt Business, because even the Nation of Domination wasn't presented as corporate. They were presented as Black Panther.
I would like to respond, but it looks like our man Al got to get out of here. Thank you for showing up.
We're gonna do this
very quick. Great to have you here, bro.
You got like 2 minutes, maybe? No? Okay.
No?
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, Al will not be here. It's very sad, but we are gonna have Jesse hold a bet down. But Al,
and this hot sauce.
quickly into the mic. Give us a 30 seconds. Haitian Temptation. It's your new hot sauce. You've come up with this. Can you give us a quick little thing about it before you got to go? Because
Haitian heat hot sauce. It's got all natural ingredients. There's no food colorings, no nothing. It's meant to be a healthier flavor option, flavor additive to all of your favorite dishes already. It's got a little bit of sweetness that will come from extra. It comes from raw honey.
Okay.
You know, it's all natural
nice.
ingredients. There's no food coloring. That red color comes from the peppers and beets. What people don't know about beets is that they're so proficient at red blood cell development and recovery that Olympic athletes will test positive for blood doping if they drink raw beets.
Really?
In America, they will. Overseas, they don't do it.
No, yeah.
And it's, so I made it a point to add that into a lot of the foods that I eat.
Okay.
Peppers, they can vitamin C.
Yeah.
You might be suffering too while you're in the gym and while you're training and things like that.
We are obviously going to be promoting your sauce from here on out because I've had it. I think it's fantastic. I'm sorry. Yes.
I'll tell you what.
I apologize. I apologize that we didn't
I'm
get
gonna
into it more. But
it.
what I love about our show is we kind of just shoot and like we get to where we're going. And thank you so much for being here. Where can people find this? We'll obviously promote it in future shows, but straight from you, where can people get this if they want to try it? Because we have viewers kind of really from all over the world.
Yeah, if you want to give it a shot, go ahead and head down to OMC Smokehouse. I'm establishing a website right now. We have OMC Smokehouse. We have Corktown Deli. We're down there at the Luke Grill.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. Over there, we're working on Dovetail.
Oh, really? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic. That's awesome.
And one of our biggest places, they actually have it as the main ingredient for a lot of the things on their menu is Mont Black Ski Resort.
Really?
They have it in their event center. Yep. They use it for some of their.
So why did you start this? I don't think I've ever really asked. What?
Myself, I love great food. I could only eat so much when I was cutting weight.
Yeah.
I'm hungry to eat like spinach and.
Are you allowed to do this during training camp? Are you actually allowed to have this during training camp? Have you created something that? Really? Okay. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Problem with a lot of barbecue sauces and sauces that I had on food.
Yeah.
There's too much salt. That much sodium, that weight is not coming off peacefully.
No.
So we use just enough sodium for the fermentation and a lot of other healthy ingredients that I eat anyway, and I had some great flavor.
We will be putting a link in the description of this video to your Facebook page. We'll be making sure that.
On Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram.
Have to find that. Definitely have to find that.
You're gonna have to come back with the hottest sauce because we're gonna do some of the hottest sauce, but you totally forgot one.
3 different ones, and I've just told. I thought they were in the box. They're not in the box.
It's perfectly fine.
Well,
we'll definitely.
We
will definitely have you back on in the future for stuff. But Al, thank you so much for this wonderful boxing hour of the show, brought to you by Haitian Temptation Hot Sauce. It's been an absolute pleasure. We will have Al back on the show in the future. But as of right now, folks, I've had it, the base sauce. For those of you that don't like heat, it is something that you will get a heat, but the flavor, I mean, he's not lying when he says the flavor just does not go away. It doesn't get hot, and it sits in the back of your throat, and it's got a nice tingle to it, but it's nothing horrible. It's
not gonna burn you out.
No. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Thank you so much.
Good.
All right.
He has to pay a debt, but he's going to enjoy it. Oh, my God. I cannot wait.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you
so much. It's been an actual pleasure. We'll have you back on, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
All righty.
Oh,
That's the last.
Yeah.
That's the last cookie you're allowed to have. Your coach is not going to text me saying what happened.
You guys kept my guy from his foot, man.
They're gonna call and yell at me for making cookies.
We are not liable. We are not liable to anything that he has to cut weight for.
All right.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank
you so much.
Oh.
All right. So.
Are you breaking stuff over there?
I don't know. Folks, my mic's just been used so many times. Okay, so now, first and foremost, can I just say, if we can get off wrestling for a second, that was great. I love that. That was so much fun. You know what I love about this show, and Jesse, you're obviously a huge part of this show now. We get this opportunity to talk so many different things, but you know what's so, but you know what's, I got it.
You can move over. You mean?
I'll turn the mic off. We'll just move over.
turn that mic back on because I turned it off.
Okay, perfect. All right, so here we go. Anyway, but no, I just want to point out what I loved about that, and it's sad that we couldn't get him for the whole show, but we try to fit people in as best as we can. Yeah. What I love about that is wrestling actually has so many ties to so many other sports, and that's what I love about this show is we can bring people on who don't really. The thing is, what I love is we got to talk wrestling with him, but he was able to relate to it. He was able to get to it. We're gonna do this very quickly before we get into the rest of the show because we got a lot of stuff to cover today.
Look at this,
ladies and gentlemen. We have the hot sauce. We have a camera set up. This will be on our YouTube channel. You guys are gonna be able to see this. Ladies and gentlemen, Jesse, you have some crow to eat, but we have some wonderful Quick Trip brand fried chicken tenders. We have an 8-piece here. Jesse, Jesse, you were actually very much. First of all, may I say, you were 100% willing to eat the crow.
Yes, I was.
But you were also very adamant that there was going to be no crow.
I didn't think there would be no
Your
crow.
show, you have even said it's been hard for you to defend. Go ahead.
Smell that.
Go ahead and
smell that.
Let's take a big whiff of that. It's good.
It's gonna have a look.
Yes, it's gonna have some kick to it. Jesse.
Oh, does it smell so
Jesse,
good?
we've got a wonderful vessel of this chicken here for you. Leroy's delving out some of the sauce. You sir, are going to take a giant hit of this because you and I both said AEW was going to do something with the TNT Championship with Brody Lee. Yeah. But here's the deal. While, yes, we found out Brody was sick afterwards, you're a man of your word, and you're going to take the fact that not much was being pushed. And by the way, Leroy took off the cap that only allows for dabs. He's pouring this. This is a shot of hot sauce.
Well, yeah, you're not going to drink it alone, then. That'd just be horrible.
Yeah. So anyway, we have the chicken here. I'm gonna let you select your tender here. You've had Quick Trip brand chicken. It's phenomenal. I enjoy it.
There's your cup.
I'll take a little bit myself here.
You want to try some of the hot sauce too?
But
my little girl, my little 5-year-old is brave enough
to try a little bit of hot sauce.
You want to smell it?
I will do this with you, but remember, you're gonna do more of this because at the end of the day, I'll admit I'm not the biggest hot sauce guy, but we're gonna talk about why you have to eat more crow in the future. We're gonna pass the chicken here over to Leroy.
Oh yeah, because I need to
All
have
right,
a piece.
we'll dab of this. May I say this looks like fruit punch.
It does. It definitely does. Want a piece? Okay.
Wow.
Get ready. Go like this. Dip it
That's
in.
fantastic.
Just a little bit.
That's really good.
My God.
That's really good.
I'm going back in. That is.
Well, I have to go back in.
Oh, yeah,
Is it hot?
Leroy, move your head.
Yeah, I'm eating the crow. Thank you.
Is it too hot? Is it too hot?
It's hot for
you?
Jesse because see, I've only put a little bit on for flavor. You are dunking that thing.
I'm gonna dunk it in. You want some more?
Oh man.
You want to try some more?
Can I just point something out? There is heat, but there's no sting. You know how they say don't do water after hot sauce because it moves us around? But,
is it too hot?
Yeah, no, not at all.
We'll have some milk.
But anyway, getting back to the wrestling side of things, Jesse, the AEW Impact partnership is finally bearing some fruit, but it's not. But it's not the fruit that we were expecting. Private Party is the first major thing we see outside of Kenny. Please explain this to me. Private Party isn't even one of the top underneath tag teams they have right now. I'm going to keep going with this hot sauce with this chicken because, my God, is this good.
Here's the weird thing about all that.
Is this all the same sauce? Because I'm going to bring this with me.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, take that home, man.
These are fantastic.
Yeah, I got one here for me, so.
So the strangest thing about Private Party
You did some more in
is I'm pretty sure they were portrayed as baby faces on Impact, but they literally just turned heel on Dynamite.
With Matt Hardy. Yeah, Matt Hardy.
So, and they came to Impact with one Tony Khan. CEO of the company. One of the CEOs of the company.
Yeah.
With that said,
This might be the best meal we've ever had during the show.
I was gonna say
Besides my baked goods?
but, I mean, you have a lot of it here. Thank you.
Oh, gotta do it, man.
My God.
I have no answers for these shenanigans
I bet you don't.
because what I don't understand is you already had a team that was planning on teaming with John Moxley to take on this so-called Bullet Club, which, by the way, I love that.
I was gonna
podcast.
I was gonna ask. You are OCBC all the way.
Of course.
But my question to you is, who do you think Tama would be okay with portraying Bullet Club outside? Now, first of all, we all know that Tama would not allow it outside of New Japan. We all know that. He is New Japan until he dies. But my question to you is, would he be okay with Balor and like Styles? Yeah. Why does he have an issue with Kenny?
Because he understands that they are the elite. He understands because one of the things he talked about on his podcast.
Yeah. For those of you that haven't heard, Tama's Island.
Thomas Island, I believe you can find on iTunes and I think Spotify now.
Okay.
I don't know if you. I think he finally updated that. I usually just go to New Japan Pro.
Yeah.
On YouTube and they kind of post
links to it and everything. Yeah.
Links to it and everything. But what he was talking about was.
God damn, that sauce is good. I apologize. My God.
When,
this ain't a punishment for you.
Unless you got some other really, really hot sauce you guys want to punish me.
Nah. We'll save that.
Well, there I could.
We can find something. Ooh, that is good.
Just let it go for a little bit.
I don't know if I'll have to eat crow again because my days of super defending AEW are pretty much done.
Oh my God.
So what he was saying is the fact that even when they brought Kenny and Cody, and hell, when he brought the Young Bucks in, at first he brought the Young Bucks in to help them because they were gaijins that had some fame even over there in Japan, and they wanted to kind of.
Because an hour 26 minutes, that's about as long as we went with Al.
Oh. Okay, yeah, we're going.
Oh, we're back on?
All right.
Sweet. Okay, so for our radio listeners, that was a bit of a technical issue there, so we're kind of splicing the show up together here. So we're going to go right back from Tama's Island. Jesse, you were talking about Tama saying that he's open to working with WWE.
Yeah.
He would allow Finn to use OCBC. So, but now back to AEW and Impact. You are no longer. Is this you kind of admitting defeat to me that it's hard to be a complete defender, and I no longer have to sit there and say, oh, it's only been a year, yada yada. I mean, like Jesse, this is starting to bother you on on a me level.
I'm not quite to your level.
No.
The frustration is there.
Yeah.
And here's what I mean. Because even with the Impact thing that they have going on, which I was hopeful with.
We all were.
With Scott D'Amore now involved, with Don Callis, I was thinking to myself, okay, this could be good. Because to me, AEW just needs help with consistent creative. It's not as bad as Raw. I actually still think Dynamite is a much better show than Raw. But when I think
the ratings don't say that, but all right.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna disagree with you on that.
That's okay.
They've been.
And to be fair, there's also no more football on Mondays.
True.
So Raw's competing against nothing anymore.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, now they aren't. Yeah.
But when I think of the 3-hour show that I'm forced to watch to review on Monday, and I think of the two 2-hour shows, Dynamite and NXT. Now, to me, Dynamite it was always kind of below NXT, and now it's definitely below NXT. It's below NXT UK for me.
I saw that Tony Khan is talking about doing a 3rd hour.
He shouldn't. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
Also, at the end of 2021, NBC Sports is no longer a thing. So the USA Network is going to start getting NASCAR and hockey. Hockey does Wednesday nights. So NXT may have to switch nights.
NXT will probably move to Thursday or something.
Yeah.
Whether they switch nights or switch networks, they were. That's rumor there was going, but probably just switch nights.
No. We've already established on this show 1,000 times what keeps USA up is Raw and NXT.
It's WWE television.
Yeah, exactly.
And whatever.
USA would be stupid to get rid of that contract.
Yeah.
But anyway, so first of all, I'm gonna probably go off on a small note here many times for the rest of the show. How great was Al?
Oh, he was amazing.
How
that was so much fun.
how much fun did we have with him?
Just the information, because he's been a boxer for
15 years. 15 years, yeah.
And I've seen a couple of his fights. He's a very great fighter.
In
his own right.
That was so much fun.
And just getting that information and having those conversations.
For those of you who may or may not like some of the shows we do where we get off on non-wrestling stuff, this show is meant to be. We start with wrestling, and if we get into other things, we get into other things, but it always comes back to it. But anyway, that was great. I loved it. So back to Spot Monkey. Something else I think you need to ironically eat some crow for, and the reason why I put air quotes in crow is Sting is about to have his first match in AEW.
Please, Lord, help me.
And it's going to be against Team Taz, and his partner is Darby Allin, and I don't think this is going to be cinematic.
No, it's a street fight.
So Jesse, explain to me what in the hell we're doing, taking a 61-year-old Sting with a bad neck and putting him in there. Forget who his opponents are. Look who his partner is. It's the master of the bump.
You know what, though? Darby Allin.
He's going to take a bunch.
Sting is, or Darby Allin has to take all of them. One
Darby
bad bump,
is.
Sting's dead.
But there are actual ways to protect Sting here. Hear me out.
Do go on.
Mm-hmm.
This is actually something I can actually semi-look at. But here's what I will say. Here's what I will say to protect myself before this damn match happens. If they have him in a ring in front of people and he takes bumps, I'm out. That's my out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? That's my out. Because here's how you can protect him. So in a street fight setting, by the way, in pro wrestling, we all know that it is partially scripted. So they can strip the bumps where he's going to take his bumps, where he's not going to take his
But he's
bumps.
working. Okay. I want to point something out because Leroy and I talked about this last week. I don't know if you heard. Leroy finally found out what GMSI means on Cage's gear.
I actually don't know.
Get my shit in.
Well, that is a
Because-
terrible attitude to have.
So what's?
No wonder Impact didn't re-sign him. Is Impact a better company? That probably.
Yeah, moving on. But that's my question to you is, why put him in there with a guy? First of all, I have nothing against Ricky Starks. Ricky Starks, I think, could.
Ricky Starks, if they're smart, will be the biggest star of the future.
That's my point. But my whole point is like, you're about to put him in there with the guy who is now known on the indies as Get My Shit In. Which means he has to get in every move he ever learned. He has to get in every bump. He's basically the Bucks, but looks like an actual professional wrestler. So
That's a good way to put it. Yeah. Oh, that's a good way to put it.
Thank you. If the Bucks had a baby that somehow grew bigger than them. Anyway, but Jesse, I'm worried because this is where I think the AEW fans as a whole are going to be exposed themselves, because sadly they were the ones who criticized Goldberg. They're the ones who criticized Legends Night.
I criticize Goldberg now.
Well, hold on.
Hey, wait a minute. He still looks better than Jericho, and Jericho's younger.
You know what? We will get to that.
Anyway. But to finish, we're talking about a scenario where they could ruin Sting before he could really become what he needs to be for them. So
I don't disagree.
So my only question to you is what is okay? So I'll ask prediction time. What is the best case scenario where they don't even come out looking like a shit stain to their own crowd? Because I'm sorry, this has the potential to look bad to an AEW crowd.
You do a lot of smoke and mirrors in the back. If you're not going to do this cinematically, you can do a lot of camera angles, smoke and mirror stuff in the backstage area. That's the only way this thing works. And I have a feeling Taz will actually be involved in this for some reason, and that will actually help to protect it. Because Taz...
Sit down, ain't nobody want to see you.
You are not the star of your own show, sir.
Funny Bone is. All right.
I'm a star in my own mind.
You really are.
But to me, if Taz is involved, which I think he will be, and they do a lot of smoke and mirrors with the cameras and how they decide to film this, then it'll be okay. Even if it is Ricky Starks and Brian Cage, Ricky Starks is one of the best workers I've ever seen, and I've seen a lot of his work, especially in NWA. I even think working with Ricky Starks can protect Sting because Ricky probably understands that Sting needs that protection. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So there, like I said, with a lot of smoke and mirrors, how he takes the bumps, how it looks, you'll probably see him like get his back thrown into like weird boxes in the backstage area. You know what I mean? All of a sudden, these well stacked boxes or something. Things that won't really hurt, but they look bad, kind of deal.
Yeah.
That's the way this will work. Otherwise, this will be worse than when Matt took that bump and they didn't stop the damn match.
You got it at that level already.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Dude, like, he was supposed to have a longer run in WWE. They were planning on him becoming champion. Vince and Paul literally, Triple H, everyone. Vince and Paul literally have said in interviews that they plan on making Sting WWE champion for a short time.
I was gonna sneeze there for a second, but I survived. Sorry.
He lived.
I was like,
yeah. They were gonna make him WWE champion, and because of the neck injury, of course, they couldn't do anything.
I don't know if he was gonna win against Seth, but I do know that Sting was probably gonna get the belt at some point.
I think the plan was for him to beat Seth because it wouldn't have hurt Seth.
No, not at all.
Definitely not.
So.
Sting was still viewed at that point as somebody that I think, well, especially going into the match because it wasn't hurt going into the match. Yeah. Sting was definitely viewed as somebody that was an old timer but could make good matches.
Yeah.
And
as long as he was a part timer back then.
But now, Leroy, Jesse just makes my point to our Spot Monkey audience of guys, you can criticize the run in WWE all you want. He got hurt. Yeah. It didn't pan out the way that they were expecting, so that can't be on Paul. That can't be on Vince. So I look at the Sting WWE run. I don't hate on it because I know that it wasn't what I should have gotten. I know that. Well, I get that.
The only thing I could say I could hate on it is it didn't last for very long.
Yeah.
Unfortunate,
Jesse,
it didn't.
But Jesse, we had this conversation with Corey. I think it was Corey who was very pro WCW.
Both of us are.
Yeah. Both of us were. But the thing is that
which WCW pre-2019, late 1999 WCW, right?
Yeah.
When Hogan was in there and stuff and that. Yeah.
Anyway. Fair.
I love both Hogans. I'm weird.
Anyway. So to go on here, I just want to say this. We were talking to him. He was criticizing the loss at WrestleMania. It didn't make sense for him to win at WrestleMania. You and I have talked about this. Seriously, people who need to understand that they were trying to give you the war that we never got crossover.
But to be fair to people who criticized that match, I also thought there was no need for that quote unquote war. You want to know?
But we're not talking. No. Okay. Fine. Take out the extra old timers. Yeah. Put in just the two competitors. What would have been the point of Triple H losing to Sting? There would have been no point.
I was about to say the only person probably with the whole authority storyline at the time that was smart of him to lose to, especially when it came time, it was either Roman Reigns or Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
It was smart for them to do
Yeah.
Or even Dean at the time.
I would say, yeah. Okay, yeah.
But yeah, it was Sting, which is why I was kind of.
You shotgunned that?
I shot a little bit.
All right.
Oh, wow.
All right. Leroy's got. All right. Leroy put some hair on something. Anyway, but so
those balls that Darren Corbin hit.
Right? Yeah. That low blow. But Jesse, it's like I'm not trying to stop you from talking. Ooh, I have been so worn out by everything that AEW has done. But see, I'm worn out in the way you're worn out by Raw. But the problem is that I have admitted to what AEW is because, again, and I'm not quoting Jim Cornette, I think they're just doing a show for their fans. They don't want to grow an audience. They don't care. And what bothers me the most, and this is what I would say to the Bucks, I'm not asking you guys to build the world's greatest wrestling company, but you guys are proving to me that this show is not going to get better. So I'm done with I'm done with the rest of the AEW community. Stop telling me to wait. Because, Jesse, nothing has given me any hope. In fact, they've gone backwards on. They're not going to get better.
I'm not telling you to wait. What I am saying as far as that,
if they can, if Tony Khan can actually, understand he doesn't know what the hell he's doing and have somebody else come in and do it, maybe.
I agree.
But not while Tony Khan is booking.
I agree. Well, hell, it's not even just Tony Khan. I mean, they have the best tag team division in the world, and they don't know how to use all of them.
Your boy Chucky looks like a damn fool right now.
Well, see, the only thing that
Your boy Chucky T looks like an absolute joke.
You know what's worse than that, though? So does Miro.
Yeah.
Oh, Miro's been one of the... We were actually going to do it today on the Spot Monkey Abyss. He is the biggest screw-up they've had on a person that they brought in where it's like, forget that he's former WWE. Forget that for 5 seconds. Let's take Miro from Twitch. He at least looks like $1 million. And he comes out in a Minnie Mouse t-shirt? Look, folks. I am the first person on God's green earth to say I hate wearing three-piece suits. I hate dressing up. I don't like wearing sport coats. I'm the guy that 99% of my wardrobe is jeans, and I just put 4,000 t-shirts on. Okay? That's what I do.
That's the best way to be.
I own 4 pairs of jeans. I own 1 pair of khakis that I use when I go visit my grandparents once in a while. Okay? I admit that fully. I have no issue with that. But here's my thing. You need to know that image is going to matter on a national television show. Miro, I don't care about the hair. I don't care about the pants, because the pants were at least looking professional. But the shirt made no sense. How you presented him as a joke. And at this point, it's a storyline that, I'm sorry, it's like Raw in the 3rd hour. I don't care anymore.
He's only been shown as a monster once, twice. It's.
He barely beat Chucky T. Your boy Chucky, I'm sorry, more crow at some point. You sat here and you boasted about how great Chuck Taylor ultimately is.
I never said anything about how they would book him.
That's fair. Okay.
I just said
no.
Chucky T, because I watched a lot of PWG.
Yeah.
And things like that. Chucky T is one of the best wrestlers in the world.
Well, but here's my question: if he's one of those people that you say he is, why can't his own people see it?
I have no idea.
Trent, you know as well as I do, Trent was the guy they saw as the star because he used to be Trent Barretta in the WWE. So if Chuck is that guy,
Trent was also well known because he came out with a lot of those guys.
I have nothing against Trent's background, but I'm saying Trent had the WWE television. But dude, these are his guys. He was PWG. This is his world. Why has
he been now put into a butler role
for a wedding that may or may not never happen? At this point with the wedding, it ain't cold feet. It's shit or get off the pot.
I just don't even care about the damn wedding anymore.
Okay, yeah, they're doing that stuff, but also, really, they're using an 8-year-old kid to fight a grown man.
See, those
that
I am not mad. I am not mad about what they do with -1. No. What I am mad about is when he's there. If you want to get gimmicky, fine. I don't care because that's the point. But when Dark Order is on TV and -1 is not there, if he's got school, if his mom won't let him go to the show, whatever, then you. Also, sadly, I hate to say it, Spot Monkey Abyss for the show was designed for former WWE guys who came in to here, or former NWO guys or NWA guys who've come in and they've been shit on. They're shitting on this faction because they have no direction. Look, God,
and they don't.
God rest his soul. You can't tread on Brody Lee's name for that much longer. It's dead. No pun intended. That is not a slight at him. God rest his soul. But the name Brody Lee in AEW Dynamite, it's done. It's dead in the water. It doesn't mean anything anymore. And by the way, I don't give a damn what any Spot Monkey fan wants to tweet out. Oh, we still love Brody Lee. No, you don't. Because you're a wrestling fan, and wrestling fans don't change in the sense of we still need the show to go on. If AEW Dynamite never has another show and they end with a Brody Lee tribute, then the end is probably one of the greatest shows that have ever occurred in modern wrestling. But here's the deal. The Dark Order... But even when Brody Lee was sick and we didn't know, they looked like they were becoming, quote unquote, maybe a joke team. That's fine. At least they had a direction. Now they've got nothing.
Yeah, so
they're like halfway between the joke team we started seeing, and now they're halfway between the seriousness before Brody Lee passed away.
Who are they gonna find? I mean, do they have to find somebody like that?
Well, here's the interesting.
Is it time to bring Matt Hardy in the Dark Order?
No, hell no.
Okay.
Matt is perfect where he is with.
I like bringing back the Matt Hardy brand idea.
Yeah. It's big money, Matt.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what
works.
what he's doing with those two young kids is fine. He's actually perfect where he is. By the way,
and he's great for them. By the way,
sounds like he's fine. Apparently, he had a really terrible car wreck the other night.
Okay.
And I read my wrestling news and it sounds like he's fine.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's what I heard too. Yeah.
So they're doing this storyline with Hangman Page in the Dark Order. Hangman is probably the best thing that they could do for the Dark Order. Here's why. One, first off, like I said, I don't hold the stuff with -1 against them.
Not at all.
Because that's their way of letting the kid kind of live a little bit before they let him go back to his own life.
And by the way,
and they should just let him go back.
Well, but also,
that's what I think.
Well, but also WWE is also guilty of there are moments that we all know are built for just your core audience. You build that in.
Yeah.
And that's built in, and I'm okay with that. I don't care, because here's the deal. From what I've learned, Brody Lee was one of those guys where his legacy is going to be himself. It's not going to be his in-ring. It's going to be the man.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. But the point is that Dark Order, we've actually talked about it on the show because they might have a second show called Elevation. We've talked about it. They are one of the 6 mainstays with Inner Circle, with Moxley, with all the people that we had listed, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But Jesse, they have no direction. They have nothing. And I'm sorry, I don't view Hangman Page as much of a direction right now.
Actually, we disagree.
Okay.
So,
okay.
And like I said, I'm not putting stock into anything anymore. But
you've already lost a lot of money on that stock deal.
Hear me out. So, what I like about the Hangman Page thing is, one, it gives him, it starts to pull him completely away from the elite stuff, which thank God. Because
the elite should.
Well, yeah.
Well, exactly. And that's the storyline. Is that right now, as much as he has fun with those guys and win matches together, and he would probably fit best as their biggest, basically their world champion of their group.
Yeah.
That right now he's trying to overcome the fact that the elite shit on him so bad that he doesn't want to be in the Dark Order.
Well, but the one thing that I think Jim, look, a lot of recent criticism that I've heard from Jim, I've even had trouble agreeing with, because to me, I understand Raw doesn't look like old NWA, AWA.
Is that what you said?
No. No.
Sorry, I'll hear you.
Yeah, hear me out. He doesn't like what they're doing with The Fiend and Alexa Bliss and all that kind of stuff. I get that. It doesn't look like old school wrestling. It doesn't make sense why they're fighting.
Him and Brad Alvarez don't like the Fiend stuff.
Yeah, but here's my thing. I like it. They don't. We disagree. But the one thing that I cannot disagree with what he said recently is his criticism of, you've taken Hangman Page, who is athletic as hell, and you turned him into a blithering, useless drunk. Emphasis on useless.
Well, he's still probably one of their best performers.
Well, I agree, but he's busy looking like a drunk next to Kenny Omega. Yes, I know. Yes, I understand Kenny was going to be the breakout guy. I never denied that. But you made Hangman where does Hangman go after coming out of the Kenny thing looking like a freaking blithering drunk?
There's only one way to go, and that is turn him heel. But
Dark Order became the most sympathetic thing in the world after the Brody Lee night.
But here's the thing. And like I said, I don't put stock that they're going to actually do it. But what I've seen with the different stories is that at some point they will, hopefully probably starting next week, you won't see -1 anymore.
Okay.
And so because really Stu and Evil Uno are a heel tag team.
Oh, yeah.
They're straight up heel tag team.
They had a great match with Top Flight.
Yes.
And that's the only reason I watch AEW is for the boys, Top Flight.
So
that's it.
So yeah, I think it's going. Plus, they're gonna apparently there's rumor they're gonna the guy that originally was in the original videos that was like their marketing guy or whatever.
Yeah.
They're actually supposed to bring him back.
Okay.
So there is supposed to be a slow step back to a heel turn now, because there is a question now that John Hubert has passed on.
Yes.
Who should be the new Dark Order leader? And I've said this, and I'll continue to say it, and I think they might actually do it. It should be John Silver, but John Silver should not be a world champion. Now, hear me out. John Silver is incredibly charismatic. He's probably their best speaker now.
John has been an odd bright spot. Only odd because, again, he was a secondary character brought into the Dark Order. I'm not saying that. Look, I'll ignore the fact that he looks like he's 108 pounds wet, but the fact is,
all right.
But the fact is that if I'm gonna be a wrestling fan and I'm gonna just dive headfirst into the pool of AEW, give me a towel, Leroy. Anyway,
right there.
Okay, cool. Anyway, my whole point is this.
Or have some paper towels.
Yeah, right. My whole point is this. John has been a pleasant surprise. I have oddly enjoyed the things that he's done. I still think he lied to the American people when it was like, "Oh, I wasn't totally knocked out. You were knocked out cold, bro." Okay, they just don't even give me that you were knocked out cold.
I know that's so bullshit. Yeah, he was.
But anyway, no. So
now, when we get away from the Dark Order stuff,
okay,
there are some things since we're now in the abyss of Spot Monkey.
Yes.
Call it, which it is, and even JR called it out again. I'm like, at some point, either because they're not gonna fire JR, but they're gonna try to push him out the door at some point.
Oh yeah.
Because he's also just been grumpy, JR, which is like, well then I don't know why you're still doing this, man. Just go do English for New Japan, JR. They'll pay you, dude.
No, and that's fine. But the thing about it is I think Jim is just way too dedicated to finishing out a project.
True, probably.
Much to his detriment. I think he's done in the past.
Doesn't really want to be there every week anymore.
No.
Which blames him.
JR works, dude. JR is basically getting the Brock Lesnar treatment of he's paid full time to work one night a week, and he's the greatest living announcer. You could call him the greatest announcer of all time. And I'm sorry, Jesse, I hate to say it, he is calling stuff that is below his voice. It is below the standard of this is the guy who went Stone Cold, and now he's calling for underneath talent. But oh my god,
he's dying over there, everybody. Oh my god. He had too much of the hot sauce.
Yeah. But see, he's not calling an underneath 30-second thing that Raw needs to fill airtime. He's calling that for 20 minutes. You can't deny the fact that some of what is presented to us...
some of it is garbage. The women's division is still bad. They had something going really cool with Abaddon, and then Cheetah just won again. But Cheetah's really not really over as a champion because you never built her up. And then you kind of built up this heel Abaddon. People are getting behind it. Her page clicks go up. Her Twitter clicks go up. You got people from all over the world going, who the f*** is this? Even like the NBA fans like, who the f*** is this?
Yeah.
So they actually started watching the games. They're like, who the f*** is this?
Yeah.
Like that's some scary looking bitch there.
Oh, by the way, one of the big names that you talked about signing when you first started AEW, Priscilla Kelly, she's now in WWE. She's now in WWE in the Women's Dusty Rhodes Classic.
I fell asleep during the match.
Did they win their opening round match?
You fell asleep there?
I was tired.
All right.
It wasn't boring. I just fell asleep.
It was a damn good match. Me and my son watched it. Oh my god, we loved it.
Did they end up winning that?
We're gonna discuss that in a little bit.
Okay.
We can jump right to it, because this is crap.
We ain't done with this shit show yet.
All right.
It doesn't even matter that.
Pass the chicken.
It doesn't even matter that.
There's a little bit left.
They signed Priscilla Kelly because what were they gonna do with her?
But this was one of the people. But this is one of the women that you publicized from day one.
I did, but on my
not you, AEW.
I know, but on my own show a couple weeks ago, I'm like, I hope Priscilla Kelly either goes to WWE or Impact because they're not even gonna use her.
No.
In AEW, they still can't get the women's division right.
No. And here's the deal. This is what's so sad for me because I actually love current female wrestling. It's phenomenal.
What name were they going with her in WWE now?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Yeah. And anyway, put a pin in that. Anyway, here's my problem. And I'm going to speak directly to you and Mr. Omega. Actually, fair enough. No.
Wait, he might listen to us. I could only hope.
Okay, fine. I will speak to Mr. Conor then, okay?
Are you dying over there again?
Who knows?
Damn them.
Yeah, small milk. I think it's the water finally moving around. But anyway, I'll say the blue one. But anyway, this is not even an issue of talent. It's not even an issue of writing. It is you don't give a shit about this division. No. You were mad at New Japan that you couldn't wrestle with Riho, so you made her a champion, but yet you didn't cross paths with her in the short time you had her before she had to go back to Stardom. And now, there is nothing in wrestling, nothing, and we're in the middle of a pandemic still. There is nothing in wrestling more dead than the AEW Women's Division. Jim Ross put more faith in calling a Tori Wilson Sable match, which we all knew were farces. He put more effort into calling those than he is into calling what is an actual athletic competition. It's a Stardom level match that is not being given what it wants, but I'm sorry, JR shouldn't give it what it deserves, because at the end of the day, they are shitting on this women's division. I am actually fighting for the women of this division, although Abby from Discover Pro Wrestling and I need to have a talk here.
We need to get her on the show.
Eric says maybe, but probably not. But here's the deal.
Oh!
Here's the deal.
Is it because of you?
No.
Oh.
If Abby, I love you to death because you are involved in a great project that we're all excited for. But if you're booking that the division is going to get better because of Penelope Ford, girl, you got to give me something more than that.
She did say that. She
sees star quality in Penelope Ford.
Sweetheart, I'm glad you see something in Penelope, because all I see is someone Vince would pimp out for 6 months to get his blonde fixed, and then she would probably be she'd be right back on like main event.
He's not wrong.
I love that. I love that reference.
He's not wrong.
Like that's what she would be in WWE. And
nobody.
The fact that she's in the top 5 now is ridiculous.
Can I point something out? Nobody has any idea what is going on with the Lacey Evans Ric Flair storyline. That's more intriguing than the entire AEW women's division. And nobody has any idea what's going on.
It's trash.
Wait a minute. I know what's going on. She gets to ride Space Mountain. All right.
Yeah, because she's not going to become a better wrestler hanging around. I'm just kidding. I love you. I love you.
Limitless Lady on YouTube is actually very fun to watch. I enjoy the crap out of it. Anyway, but no, Jesse, the one thing that no wrestling fan can spend even 50 minutes on is the AEW Women's Division. It is, it's ridiculous. And you want to know what bugs me even more? Think of all the women that are out there that are former WWE. They don't even want to be a part of it. Nobody who has been on WWE TV wants to work that division. And you know what? As much as you and I talked a little bit about that, Tessa Blanchard has been kind of it was bullshit the way Impact used her, because it made Impact fall, because in real life we know Cage is going to split Tessa Blanchard in 4 different ways. Okay, we know that. But the thing is that she can't save this division.
No, she can't.
And she's the number 1 female in the world. We all know this. Tessa Blanchard is the number 1 female in the world, bar none. But the thing is, I can't think of anyone. Dude, Candice Michelle would rather still talk about her WWE days. She would rather show up at a Legends night. She would rather go back to when she was being marginalized as Vince's fairy girl, whatever it was. She would rather live off that than go be taken seriously in AEW. Yeah, I don't have actual confirmation. Maybe Candace would love this if AEW would call, but AEW should call because they need somebody in that division with any form of star power. Because here's the deal: you talked about them not building up Hikaru Shida. Look, Hikaru Shida's deader than 4 o'clock because here's why: the Japanese girl, the bar is Asuka. Io Shirai is just a touch below, even though I think Io is the top of women's wrestling in the world right now.
Yeah.
But Hikaru's not in their galaxy.
No.
She is not even a small, insignificant star at a point next to Mars that no one cares about. Yeah.
Well, here's interesting too. I just saw that Impact. I keep an eye on that every once in a while.
Great show, by the way, on Twitch.
Tara Valkyrie.
Yeah.
The heavyweight wrestling women's champ. She's not with Impact. If it's story or if it is truly, she is not signed with America.
Yeah.
I mean, what is she gonna do? Would AEW benefit for having her there?
I think she might go join her husband.
They would, but here's the problem. And this is and as soon as I say this, Jesse's gonna have to agree. She is sadly so much farther above the rest of that division.
Oh, well, yeah.
There's nobody that can work with her.
Well, there's only one person that can work with her, and they still haven't gotten her a title shot. As we were just speaking about people with black champion. Why hasn't
Don't you dare give me Big Swole. After Tooth and Nail, Big Swole's got a lot to make up for.
She does, yes, she does.
Not her fault. That is a booking thing. She could have said no.
She should have said no.
But she said yes.
But she said yes. I'm not gonna blame her for saying yes to her bosses.
That's fair. Here's the deal.
You think?
I do not think. I have said it on the show, but I will admit here and now, while I did agree with Brian Last and Jim Cornette at one point that I think Big Swole is one of the absolute worst workers, Big Swole has grown on me. Her work is not as bad as I originally thought. I've seen some growth, but here's the deal. She's not ready. Even if they built her right. Hikaru Shida, and I hate to say it, Hikaru Shida is the most limbo champion in wrestling because she is champion because they have no idea what to do.
So Asuka on Raw? Here's the whole point of them bringing Charlotte back?
Here's the difference, though.
I mean, let's be real.
Here's the Here's the biggest difference. Yeah. Here's the biggest
And
difference.
by the way, and I don't mean to cut you off, but by the way, since I'm pretty sure Jim Cornette probably listens to you. I listen to the show recently. He says a lot of things you say, so there's a chance Jim Cornette is actually a fan of the show. So Jim,
if he is a fan of the show, I'm excited.
Yeah,
because I'm a fan of his.
Yeah. You'll never be on the J Still Wrestling podcast. So no matter how.
Not us.
Jim.
Yeah.
All right.
So the whole point of Alexa being with the Fiend was one to rebrand her, one to refresh her, and two to re-heal her.
Yeah.
It is working. What they did on Raw with the whole Asuka thing is brilliant. Instantaneously.
Can I say this about Asuka though for a second before you? I'll let you know, but so you say Asuka's in limbo. The difference is,
Asuka kind of was handing the championship.
Yeah, Asuka,
Who else was it?
Asuka, quote unquote. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, no.
Asuka, quote unquote, though, she is just pure entertainment. Whether she is joking around or she's being serious, I believe everything about Asuka. Asuka's not in limbo because, remember, Asuka is still Asuka. This is the weird thing about Asuka is that she's never lost that 500-day feeling to me. I still believe that she can beat anyone on any night, no matter what the story is right now. I still believe in that. Hikaru Shida is a kendo stick. That's all she is, because past that, I can't tell you anything about her. I don't know the moves. I don't know the Princess Championship mention was the dumbest thing Excalibur ever did, because it killed her to the audience. So, no.
Yeah.
The Spot Monkey Abyss is every woman in that division, and by the way, Kenny's still booking it.
That's the worst decision ever.
What are we doing?
It's still the worst decision ever, because Kenny, first off, he needs to step away from that division. Two, He needs to work on his own character because what the hell is this? It's just I was wrong. Once again, I guess I'm eating the verbal crow here.
He's given the same promo 7 times.
This is not the leader. What is Don Callis talking about?
This is the collector. This is the collector. Austin Aries already did that, and he already collected more belts. The collector gimmick. He's not. Okay. Question for you. Question for you and you, because you know the picture. For the Japan connection, is he just trying to be a diet version of Ultimo Dragon?
Maybe.
Ultimo. For those of you who always see the picture of Ultimo Dragon and go, why does he have so many belts? I don't think you realize how good Ultimo Dragon was.
Oh.
Ultimo Dragon is somebody that we saw him with Sonny Ono. He can still go at his age.
But we saw him up at Fortune Mania 2, and it was great. And I think when
the match was super crazy, by the way.
Woo!
And I think when we were having lunch, he was sitting there.
Yeah.
Without his mask on.
Yeah.
And I was like, who
Dragon,
is that guy?
But Ultimo
and
Dragon
he didn't know.
Is not necessarily the luchador idea. He's more the tiger mask idea, where the mask is sacred, but it's not to lucha levels.
But it's interesting. Like, I don't know who that was.
Remember, Blue Demon Jr. is running for mayor of Mexico City, and he said if he wins, he'll remove the mask. That's.
I didn't read that. Oh wow.
Oh yeah. Well,
wow.
I think he legally has to.
Yeah. He has to show his face if he's going to govern.
Yeah. But the thing about it is that Ultimo Dragon, when he held those belts, if you go back and look at the era in which he held those belts, he was the man in every single one of those companies. He was that dude. Kenny's not that, though. Collector doesn't make sense because, everyone's making a big deal. Kenny has pinned the Impact World Champion. Then what the hell is Moose doing? So you're just going to take Moose, who's been there, who's worked hard, who's built himself up, who has made a great story of himself, and you're just going to give it to Kenny? You're just going to say, hey, Rich Swann, you're working with Kenny. But Moose, nope, you're working with Kenny. What?
This is why the crossovers so far don't work. They've only had to work when Moxley's involved is because there's already a built-in story with Kenny and Moxley.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
That story still works mostly because of Chuck Moxley.
Well, and then did you see?
John Moxley does a great job when he's not wrestling.
Yeah.
I still love him in the ring.
I just when he's actually in the ring and not just on the side.
Last Wednesday, I didn't actually realize that was his first match in like damn near 2 months.
Yeah.
What did you? Was it Tama over New Japan? Wasn't it him that said was reaching out to Vince and Triple H saying,
well,
why don't we do a partnership?
We talked about that when you went to deal with the kids earlier. Was that?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I missed that.
Yeah. No. We already talked about that. But the sense is that that's a partnership that would work because at the end of the day, those two companies are on the same level. Sadly, you just admitted this like not 20 minutes ago. Impact's the better show. Impact is not going to get the ratings boost. Actually, this has been great for Impact because Don Callis has been promoting Impact like crazy.
Yeah.
But the thing is that Impact's always going to be hurt by their past experiences, especially with Russo. He leaves stains on things that just can never come out. But the thing is that
poop. It's a poop stain from hell.
Yep. But the thing is that Impact has been brought back to the forefront of wrestling people because of this partnership. AEW has not benefited because here's the deal: people want to look at me and say, "Well, look at last week. They did 859,000 and NXT did 654." It doesn't matter. NXT's not competing with you anymore. You guys are competing against yourselves, and you're not growing the audience. How many times do I have to come up here on this microphone? This is why I said last week to Leroy, and Leroy will say, I was about as depressed as possible talking about this. Here's the deal. You are not growing the audience. It's the same people. And by the way, if Jim Cornette, for some strange reason, and he proved this, by the way, if he decides to stop talking about you, you lose 200,000.
It's true.
No, Jesse, you laugh, but the proof was in the pudding. 200,000 people stopped watching on the 4 weeks that Jim Cornette did not review AEW. Then he reviewed them again. They went up 200,000, and they've been in that up 200,000 range ever since. If he doesn't talk about them, more people are not going to watch. The NBA audience thought Chris Jericho was a friggin' balloon animal of his former self. And by the way, I didn't think that the NBA Twitter audience was going to be that harsh, but my God, they're harsher than I am.
That was a time I want to wait till after Royal Rumble to talk about compare Jericho and Goldberg. I think I think we'll wait because we'll see how well Goldberg performs, whatever, wins or loses, whatever.
I think you're holding that horrible lion salt over here. That was horrible. I don't know why he attempted that lion salt.
It was bad.
It was.
It was so bad.
AEW has botches every week. That was horrific.
What was worse, lion salt or Snoop Dogg?
You know what? The lion salt was just fun. Because he's clearly not a wrestler.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am declaring on this show, we are all NPCs living in a video game built for Snoop Dogg, and he's now just doing side quests for fun.
Yeah, I do agree with that.
Snoop Dogg beat life, and now he's like, what other shit can I do before I... Snoop Dogg, I hate to say... No, okay.
I love Snoop Dogg.
No, I'm not saying this because I want Snoop to die. You know, he seems very healthy. He's good. If Snoop Dogg died tomorrow, what more does the man have to do with life? He is like he beat life. Now he's just waiting for the hand of death to be like, okay, you're done.
No,
not that he's old, but just the man that Snoop can do no wrong, in my opinion.
You know, if death comes for him, he's just gonna look around and be like, "Yeah, we'll do a little puffy, and he's gonna be living for another 30 years.
Jesse, we're moving on to something that we cannot take our eyes off because it doesn't matter who you root for, it doesn't matter what company you love. It is a night that will live in infamy. It is the Royal Rumble. We all love it.
God, I love that Rumble.
It's about the numbers. It is everything that we love about wrestling because it is so unique.
I must admit, though, this year's scares me a little bit.
This year, I think, has a lot of potential.
It scares me in the sense that one of the best things about the Royal Rumble really is us as wrestling fans. And here's what I mean by that. Our reactions to who comes out, when they come out, who gets eliminated, how they get eliminated.
That's fair.
And now that it looks like it is just going to be another Thunderdome thing. Well, originally they talked about maybe having a small crowd.
Well, they're trying to get people to... Well, here's the thing. I understand people are wondering why, hey, you're at the baseball stadium, why don't you try what AEW is doing at Daly's Place? WWE... Because WWE already has the established reputation that AEW is trying to get, it doesn't make sense for them to bring in a small amount. It just doesn't. It's not going to add anything to the show. It's probably actually going to take away from the show because their brand at this point is not rec center style crowd. AEW Dynamite's still a rec center style crowd because they haven't reached that level yet. And that's not me just talking shit for shit. That's just proof.
Well, I think also what they're doing because they're a respectable company is if they're saying, yeah, they're not saying definite. They kind of said definite they're going to have fans for WrestleMania, but they are doing it safely. Yeah. They're doing it correctly. And the biggest emphasis I have is they're doing it safely.
Yes.
Well, because, I mean, it'll be at Raymond James.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they've already said they're only going to fill it to 45%.
Yeah. But anyway, back to the Rumble. I think that this actually has the potential to be one of the most impressive Rumbles because and here's why. Because you have the situation with COVID. Perhaps you're going to have more surprises than you thought.
Yes.
Instead of 2 or 3 surprises, maybe we're up in the 6 to 7 surprise range. And remember, we have 2 Rumbles for this to be attempted. We have the Women's Rumble.
Well, the Women's will have a lot of surprises.
Yeah.
Because they don't have that many women on the roster to do it.
Yeah. I'm looking for the Women's Rumble this year. Last year was good. I
don't think.
I think
Becky's
this year's
back
gonna
for
be
the
good.
Rumble.
No,
I'm
she's not.
declaring that now. If it happens, great. But I don't think this is where Becky comes back.
It's for people who keep wondering when she'll be back. That baby was just born, guys. If anything, SummerSlam is probably the year.
Did you see the nice picture of her holding the baby?
It was beautiful.
Oh, that
was
I
great.
love that.
The other thing about it is,
Except to continue to stay home and be a dad, 'cause I was sick of looking at his freaking face.
all right, there you go. But
he'll be back.
But no, it's just I think the men's will have Seth. I think the men's will have some surprises. But
it would be a perfect time for him to come back.
I can't stand Seth Rollins anymore. Aren't you guys tired of Seth Rollins?
No.
No.
Am I the only person tired of Seth Rollins?
Probably.
Yeah.
Am I like I was in the minority of hating Brock when he came back, and now I'm in the minority of like just being tired of looking at Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
My biggest thing is
At least Roman, like when he came back, it felt fresh.
True.
Like,
And
you got to do something with Seth when he comes back.
maybe there's something will be.
The problem
know.
is
Go back to Seth after Rollins.
my biggest problem with the whole Seth situation is I feel like more so, because Roman comes from the Anoa'i family, he gets the business more. I'm not saying Seth doesn't get the business. What I'm saying is I don't think Seth is a guy that you can write for. Seth, I don't know how good Seth is at pulling off someone else's words. Because remember the whole Tyler Black thing, that was him.
Yeah, that was all him.
That was all Kobe. So I think
I'm glad to say I have a couple DVDs with him in it. And,
yeah, you do.
I love it.
But no, it's like for me, not just Seth, but the Rumble has the opportunity to have people come back, has the opportunity for people to Edge could have another moment because I think he's healed from the tricep by this point.
I think he has been cleared.
Yeah. I know Beth was in town for the Dusty Rhodes Women's Classic. Great to see her back on commentary live. My biggest thing, though, is I think this year's Women's Royal Rumble is unique because we're going to see a lot of new faces.
Yeah.
Because and I think it's going to be very heavily NXT because because you have so many women down there. I think you're going to see Caden Carter and Casey Catanzaro, and they're going to have to think about their friendship because they're in the Rumble. They're going to have to do this. By the way, Casey Catanzaro, that was a botch. It was a beautiful looking botch, but that was a botch.
Well, yeah, we'll talk about that. Yeah,
because I don't think that was supposed to be back to back, but we'll talk about that later. No, my biggest thing is I love the Rumble because you get a chance to have unpredictability. Yeah. Although and honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know who wins this year. When Drew was in it, and I saw the writing on the wall that Drew McIntyre was ready, which was early enough for me to say that. Yeah. But right now, Drew's not in it. I don't think Randy's gonna win it.
No, I
don't think. Yes, I don't think that Brock is gonna be a part of it.
No.
I don't know who's winning this Rumble because I also don't know who's in it because of look. This is what Vince has been praying for 5 years. Because of the pandemic, we don't know who's in town. We don't know who can be in town. It's actually a secret who can be in it. There's no way to break it because we don't know. Yeah. They might still be trying to fill the slots hours before.
They're still kind of doing false pushes of they've been pushing the Daniel Bryan thing a while on SmackDown.
Well, okay. Let's go through this for a second. If Daniel Bryan wins, he gets one more shot in the sun. Yeah. If Cesaro wins, I think Cesaro's back to that level where him winning makes sense. Yeah. They built Shinsuke up.
Yeah, they're starting to build Shinsuke, which is the oddest thing in 2021. Seriously, after the feud with AJ, I thought it was never happening again. I'm like, okay, well, he'll never get another.
I'll say this though. Naka is such a talent that I think eventually it's just you have to do something with it.
And a part of that was his own thing. He wanted to kind of be the surfer guy.
Exactly. Yeah, no, exactly. But
well, you want me to run down who they have announced so far?
Sure, yeah.
All right.
We did Daniel. We did Cesaro. We did Shinsuke.
Daniel, Bobby Lashley, AJ, Randy Orton, Otis, Miz, Jey Uso, Cesaro, Jeff Hardy, Sami Zayn. He's going to be unlocked from the barrier for that one. Dolph Ziggler and Shinsuke. That's who they
Dolph,
have so far.
Dolph is always the consummate performer to where I think that Dolph is always a threat to they might give him one more chance in the sun. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Well, I mean, they haven't announced the New Day,
Yeah.
Xavier and
But the thing is,
but they're in there probably.
Yeah.
Oh, he's hurt. Well, Xavier might be in there then.
But anyway, you've got Bobby, who is always. But no, it's just this is a Rumble that has a lot of legit. If they win, I'm not gonna be shocked beyond human belief by it. I'm not, because look, Bobby's always a threat even at his age because Bobby looks like $1 million.
Oh yeah.
Oh God. If let's say Jay wins, big match Jay Uso's a legit single guy right now. So
by the way, his brother's healthy. That's so the fact.
Hold on.
Bring his brother back, and he's still doing the
hear me out though.
But he could come back at the Rumble
yeah,
too.
Exactly. But hear me out though. I actually like that Vince is starting to bring back the old idea of we have nothing for you, so you're not going to be on TV. I actually believe in my heart of heart that Alistair was pulled because they want to do bigger. I'm not saying Vince didn't do something with Alistair because of what happened with his wife. I'm not saying that. I'm not going to go that far and defend Vince and say it has nothing to do with Selena. I'm not going to say that because I don't know. But Alistair, in my opinion, still has enough cachet to where you got him. Let's at least give him something real.
There's been some rumors that the whole reason that he hasn't even been on main event damn near a month now is the fact that they actually plan on doing something with him.
But that's my point.
For now, since they don't have anything for him, they're like,
just come on back. I've seen that rumor too. As they are waiting, they're gonna have a huge push for him or whatever when he comes back. It's gonna be huge.
But going back to what I was saying, I am more a fan of we have nothing for you, sit in catering, versus we have nothing for you, go out and beat a jobber. I prefer that.
Yeah.
Some fans think that that's mean. Some fans think that there's a vendetta. I'm gonna be honest. If you have nothing, don't be on TV. It is something that Vince stopped doing for a while, and the fans hated on him. And now they're hating on him for doing the same thing, which is I'm not pushing you, but I'm not doing anything with you. But no, stay off TV. I'm fine with that. But here's the thing. There's so much potential with this year's Rumble. Also, because half the roster has been at home most of the year.
Yeah.
So what you have is an opportunity where for the first time since social media really boomed, the Rumble is its own enigma.
Yeah.
It is, definitely.
The Rumble is its own, what the hell are we going to do? The Rumble also, quick question, and I'm going to ask both of you guys this, and don't give me this bullshit of, I'm just going to throw a name out there. Who's the favorite in the female? You have no idea. You have no name. You can't think of anyone because here's the deal.
Problem is, I also don't actually know who's actually declared for the outside of Charlotte. She's always a threat to win.
Asuka's in.
Oh, Asuka's actually in?
Don't worry, sir. No, I can do it.
Naya's in. Shayna's in.
No, okay, here, I'll run down here.
Both
Naya?
Riot Squad's in.
Naya, of course, Flair is in there.
Yeah.
Bianca.
Yeah.
Bayley, Mandy, Dana, Peyton, Alexa Bliss, Shayna Baszler, Liv Morgan, Ruby Riott, and Tamina. Out of anything, the only one I give a chance at actually doing it is Bianca Belair. But she's got a good run going with Bayley right now.
That's the thing.
So that's the hard part.
As much as I think Bianca could go straight to the main event, this Bayley stuff is just so good right now. It's too good to just stick a fork in it and say done. She lifted Otis with no issue.
I saw that. I was so impressed.
Oh, I knew that. No.
Holy crap.
I knew from the start that Bianca was going to go crazy for this. Also, when I saw the hurdles and Allison was like, she was going against Corey being like, well, that's unfair. I'm like, she is a world-class hurdler at the University of Tennessee? Yeah, University of Tennessee. She was an all-SEC hurdler. Give her real hurdles, then we have no problem. Did you see the form she had? That is real hurdler form.
I actually think Alexa might be taken out of that because I think Alexa's taking that championship from Asuka after Rumble. We will see what happens on Raw. It's like one of the few things I'm actually interested in on Raw this Monday.
I actually, you know, it's funny. We were talking about Raw.
Outside of the Hurt business.
Yeah.
We
were talking about Raw the other week. Here is my biggest problem with Dynamite, and I'm not going back just to shit on them because it's interesting to bring that up. Because Leroy, you'll remember I said this. I feel like even though it's not very exciting, Raw is at least being booked where they have a direction.
Yes.
But I feel, but no. But look, even SmackDown has some storylines where we say, but SmackDown's exactly. But my point is this: the reason why I can sit through Raw easier than Dynamite is because in my brain, I'm able to look at Raw and see where they're going. Whether I like or hate where they're going, I can see the direction Raw is trying to get to. Ricochet being beaten down as much as he is, it's for Ricochet to fly back up because that's what Ricochet does.
But they cannot keep doing it. They've done this twice.
I agree. No. Again, whether I agree with it or not, I know where they're going. I don't know where Dynamite's going with half the booking. That's my problem with Dynamite. And I said to you last week, I'm not.
Yeah.
I wasn't asking for the failure of Dynamite. I don't want to shit on Dynamite. But with Elevation coming, what's going to happen to Dynamite when you have to split up the roster because you can't just turn Elevation into Dark because it's going to confuse the Dynamite audience. This is.
To be fair, though, are the two audiences actually separate?
Oh, I would say so.
I think so.
I would say so. And the reason why
There's a mix,
I
but
actually don't talk to a lot of AEW fans. Like, you kind of apparently get tweets from them because I have no interest in hearing from them because these are some of the same guys that thought the Elite should have stayed in New Japan, which I'm like, hell no.
No.
But
to those people, may I just say this? It's been reported and it's been basically proven. The only reason why the Elite happened in New Japan was because the New Japan offices were like, okay, you're a package deal with Kenny. They didn't give a crap about the Young Bucks. They were there because they were with Kenny.
They were actually really only there at first because Tom brought them in. But but yeah, so going back to the Rumble, there's gonna be a ton of surprises.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I already, as far as like my highest thoughts of who might win.
Yeah.
I think as soon as I heard Charlotte announce, I'm like, she'll win us everything. I'm over ever being angry about anything they do with Charlotte. I know she's kind of addressed this as part of their storyline.
Yeah.
But I'm over it. I get it. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm thinking she'll win it, so she could probably challenge Asuka.
Okay.
At first.
Yeah.
But then I saw what happened in the main event.
Yeah.
And then I went, wait a minute.
Yeah.
yeah.
All right.
I don't think Charlotte has to win the Royal Rumble to challenge for that. So it's up in the air.
Say if it was Alexa.
Yeah.
Well, if Alexa just squishes her at Mania, that makes the Raw Championship look as strong as it did when Becky got it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
All right, so now I got a question for you because moving on to a topic here. Did you watch the Fight Pit? Have you seen the Fight Pit?
I did not get the chance to finish the Fight Pit, so we can
Oh
talk
my
about it, but I didn't get a chance to finish it.
I think it should have gone a little longer, but I'll be honest with you, I wasn't angry at it. It was hard hitting. It was well documented. It was well done. These guys got the pacing of things.
I do want to say this.
Yeah.
Big ups to Timothy Thatcher, who was dealing with a legit, not just the one that they wrote in, but he was actually dealing with a legitimate injury.
Yeah.
And did that match.
Yeah.
Big.
Very.
That's why we've all been since his days.
Yeah. Great, amazing. In my opinion, story they told in a short period of time. I think it would have gone longer if it was New Year's Evil, but they kind of fit it into the main event of another NXT. I did like the post match where now they're in the Dusty Classic. They won on 205 Live. You were high on these guys outside. MSK, the Radicals, the Rascals. Which, by the way, I don't know if people caught this, but in their debut match, right before commercial break, Vic Joseph did say, "These crazy rascals are going crazy," and I was like, all right,
good job,
all
good
right.
job.
That was good. So your thoughts of them as MSK, because it's only been one match, but I think they got to show off and be who they are, and I think they're letting them be themselves.
There's two things that I'm not the biggest fan of the rebranding name, but I think sometimes Paul does that to protect himself because that's a name that they own. They probably want to keep that name in case things don't work out.
Yeah.
They're only on a 3-year deal.
Yeah.
So if things don't work out, they can always go back to being the Rascals. But apparently there's a lot of love for them. They've worked really hard in the Performance Center.
I think
and they're a team that apparently even Shawn Michaels is incredible.
I think the way that I've watched them, and okay, yes, they've brought in a bunch of people.
Damn shame WWE couldn't offer the world the top flight.
Right.
There's still a chance.
Yes. Anyway, here's my thing. Yes, I know they've brought a bunch of people in and they've given them video packages and nothing has come of it, but MSK just feels different.
Yeah.
They're like, I mean, the commentators are being told to talk about this team like they're gonna be something.
Yeah.
I am excited to see. I don't like the matchup of them versus the Beast of Belfast and Drake Maverick just yet.
Drake and Killian Dane.
Yeah,
that's
Killian
the
Dane.
next match.
I don't like them already facing each other. Maybe in the semifinals, maybe in the third, fourth, I mean maybe the finals. But second round, I feel like there's two stories there I want to see that are already going to end, and it's just. It was a bad seeding in my opinion, but fine, whatever. I mean, I'm going to enjoy it one way or another. But it's just anyway.
Do you want
what's the updated Dusty Rhodes Classic?
Update? Okay, all right. Well, as you were saying, Ciampa and Thatcher won their match, so they're
on 205 Live, and they all want it thrown out because Thatcher's not 205, and I'm looking at myself like you
Who
weren't
cares?
beating them if it was on Main Event, Raw, SmackDown, anything. You could have been in Space with No Gravity. You weren't beating Timothy Thatcher and Tommaso Ciampa.
So in the next round,
Yeah.
it's going to be Ciampa and Thatcher against the Undisputed Era.
Interesting that's round 2, but I realized that the injury probably prevented them from doing what they were going to do.
Yeah.
I still say the Undisputed Era is going to run the table only because it's a great way to give them a title shot against Lorcan and Birch without just handing it to them. But I do think the Undisputed Era is going to have the toughest path to get to it.
Yeah. The next is going to be the Grizzled Young Veterans against Kushida and Leon Ruff. And what you predicted the Wade losing, that was a very good insight on that one, Zach.
Oh, yeah, I thought that was going to happen too.
Yeah.
Because
No. Leroy is talking about how I predicted the Wade was going to lose. And
yes.
I pretty much called it word for word what
Yes,
happened.
you did. Yes.
I did, yeah.
Then MSK, as we said, MSK against Drake Maverick and Killian Dane. And then a solution.
Which, by the way, can we just acknowledge how amazing that storyline has been?
Yeah.
It's been so much better than I thought it was going to be.
At first I was so uncertain, but it grew on me so quickly.
And by the way, we talk a lot on the show about body language. Killian seems to be enjoying going along with it.
Yeah.
He seems to be okay with it. It's not like they're pigeonholing him. Killian seems to be having fun with it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The last matchup
Yep.
is Lucha House Party and
shocking first round win
Legado
for me, by
del
the way.
Fantos. That was a great match.
Here's your big upset for next week. They're gonna beat Fantasma.
Legado del Fantasma.
Legado del Fantasma.
Yeah. No.
I actually think so. Here's
Lucha House Party to the semis?
Yeah.
Here's what's stupid to me when I think of Lucha House Party. Good for them, but stupid in general for WWE. Paul decides, you're gonna let me use them. Perfect, because he loves them.
Oh yeah, no, they're great together.
He even split them up from Kalisto because he just wasn't working.
No.
And giving those other two guys who are excellent lucha libre wrestlers.
Grand Metro League might be one of the best luchadors in the world. Hands down. Hands down, period.
And then all of a sudden, stupidly, on Raw, they're taking it seriously again. They've beaten the Hurt Business twice.
Yep.
Yes, yeah.
They've beaten legitimate tag teams on Raw.
They have.
And I'm like, wait a minute. So I'm watching last week when they did it again. I'm like, wait a minute here. I'm like, so now Vince and Triple H at the same time believe in this. I'm like, what's going on here? I'm happy for them because
yeah.
deserve it.
Oh yeah.
But I'm like, that never happens. Usually Vince is like, I don't got it.
Can we just be honest about one thing, though? A lot of people are starting to be taken seriously again, and I'm serious. They've built Daniel Bryan back up. Cesaro seems legit again. Nakamura in one night was made back to be the artist. Well, wasn't the artist. He was the king after one night. I think we're getting to a point where, and it sounds really old school. Yeah. Here's the deal. I just feel like a lot of people are, and it sounds a little old school, I think they're done paying dues. A lot of people are actually being taken seriously again. Because I'll be honest with you right now, one of the best things going, and I don't think anyone's talking about it, is the Alpha Academy.
Oh, it's
don't tell me for the small pigeonholed section of SmackDown that those two are not brilliant together.
Hell, I mean, it even intertwines a lot with Daniel Bryan's story. But I actually think it's excellent.
I have been enjoying Chad's.
I don't know who writes SmackDown.
Oh,
maybe it's Paul Heyman.
Oh,
maybe it feels like it's got Paul Heyman's hands written all over it.
It does. Especially the Roman stuff.
This is not a knock, and I've said it on my show. This is not a knock against the rest of the wrestling business.
Yeah.
SmackDown is outside of New Japan.
Yeah.
SmackDown is the best wrestling show I watch every single week.
It is the only American TV show right now that has the clearest direction.
Like but by the way, it shows in the ratings. I think they got close to 3 million again.
Okay, so Jesse, I'm gonna throw this at you to kind of close up the show here. Leroy and I talked about this last week. I said, and this goes back to me saying that Dynamite doesn't have a clear path. SmackDown is the most consistent show in the sense that if you throw any consistent person that is on SmackDown at me, I can tell you specifically where they're going, what they've been doing. They're all brilliant. Sammy, know where he's going. Apollo, know where he's going. I know where everyone on SmackDown is going. Raw, a little bit. Dynamite, I'm 50-50 on too many people. Impact, Lord knows. Anyway, but no, that's my point. And Leroy, you and I actually had a really good conversation about this. As I said, SmackDown is consistent.
Yeah.
With everything. And yeah. Also,
Roman Reigns coming back as a heel, it's one of the best things he's ever done.
You know what's sad? The only sad part about this is that Vince, you were hiding that from us for 3-4 years. This guy was capable of all that, and yet I didn't get this for 3. You were so hell bent on him being the face of the company that I didn't get this. This was brilliant. Oh, now she doesn't want to talk to you.
Yeah, now she don't want to talk anymore.
All you used to hear about was how great he was, and you're like, I don't see it.
And now I see it.
And now when he's been back, I'm like, oh God, he's amazing. Why didn't this happen when he had to face the Undertaker? Like, it would have been the perfect time for it.
Yeah.
Like I listen. Every Friday, like I tell people, every Friday night, I am so excited to watch that 2 hours.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm like, I'm gonna get a hell of a show. And the best part is, they piss me off because then I have to wait till Saturday morning to watch Paul Heyman do excellent interviews and build these wrestlers even more.
Has Talking Smack not been one of the best post-show things?
Goodness.
With Paul on it, yeah. I mean,
the stuff
it's great.
With Apollo.
Big
E the week before. I mean, he's done some stuff recently with Sammy. It's so
with Kevin. The Kevin show was good.
Yes.
I loved it. I have loved. Okay, call me crazy. When he's not the guy in charge of the business side, is there anyone that is gonna hook you more on wrestling than Paul Heyman? I'm serious.
I don't think so.
I'm happy that it says yes to everything he allows each week because I'm telling you, 90% of that show, it's like 2 hours fly by because it's so.
Despite what Ryback keeps saying, you ain't gonna destroy Paul Heyman on a live mic. That's not a thing.
Yeah, you're not even gonna come close to that.
Look. There's one thing that I'll agree with Ryback on, and I barely even agree with him.
Oh, you actually agree with him?
No. Hear me out.
Barely agree. There's a difference.
While I agree that Paul has spent a large portion of his career being the second fiddle to a lot of big names, I've always agreed, though, but Paul is the guy that you want writing your TV, not selling your merchandise.
True.
If Vince and Stephanie and Paul Levesque, Triple H, if they're controlling the business, the writing from Paul will always be great. Because here's the deal. As bad as they were from a business perspective, those old ECW shows, God, they were some of the most consistently written shit I've ever seen on a wrestling show. Paul can book wrestling. Yeah. Don't ever misquote me on that.
Oh yeah.
Paul can book wrestling. He's not the best guy when it comes to.
Probably why Peter Avalon should be booking in AEW, because booking on the indies is actually excellent. But I digress. Yeah,
actually, he was actually mentioned in the lounge the other day, and Thomas Bug even said Peter's one of the best guys in the Southwest area.
No. So I'm not sure if anyone's actually ever gotten a chance. What is the name of that promotion? We'll have to find it. I forget.
High Impact Wrestling or Cactus League Wrestling.
It might be Cactus League.
Okay.
Peter helps the book. Seriously, it's one of the best book shows for like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
You can watch in a local promotion. And I'm like, Peter Avalon has been booking this thing. It's incredibly good.
Yeah. So
incredibly good.
So here's the deal. Another reason why I don't think Paul is in AEW is because I think Tony Khan was an idiot not to call Paul Heyman and say, "What's Vince offering you? I'll triple it." But I think
that'd be a better show then.
But yeah. But I think that.
A million weeks ago.
Oh yeah. But I think Paul knows that at this point in his life, you book for the major leagues, you don't book for the minor leagues.
Mm-hmm.
You manage the Yankees, you don't manage the Rochester Red Wings. It's that simple.
All right. Should we delve into and not forget the women's for NXT? We got to do that.
Ladies and gentlemen,
we got to give props
Dusty
to
Classic,
the ladies.
I was dead wrong at the prediction of Casey Catanzaro and Caden Carter versus Mercedes Martinez and Tony Storm. Yes, in a real scenario, there's no reason why Tony Storm and Mercedes Martinez are losing to Caden Carter and Casey Catanzaro.
How did you not see Io Shirai getting involved?
I'm gonna be honest.
And that's very interesting. Yes.
No. Let me explain myself for 2
seconds.
Okay.
Yep.
I gotta hear this.
Like 2 seconds. All right.
You can't deny that Io has been known to be a little more picky about her spots. I've never known Io to immediately respond. Io usually has a plan. Yeah. So to see her be so primally attacking Mercedes, I'll be honest, while I'm not surprised by it because of what they wrote, I expected that to be in a couple of weeks. I expected Io to go back to the water, to the pool, and to meditate and think.
Well, here's why I knew it was going to happen right away.
Okay.
Because of the way Mercedes embarrassed her.
That's true.
Okay, yeah.
The physical domination Mercedes put on her was insane.
By the way, before we move on in that, I want to say more from the best women's division in all of this sport, NXT. Despite what even Jim said, because he thinks it's a little too Hollywood, I think Boa and Xia Li are one of the best middle card things they got going. It's so much fun to watch.
I was so concerned when they started it because it started hokey as hell.
Is it Bull?
Huh?
I'm asking you because remember she's not.
Is it Bull Nakano?
Yeah.
I actually have been saying on my show that I think it's Bull Nakano.
Now I heard she was going to work with NXT UK.
Yeah.
But she would fit this perfectly.
Yep. Yeah, she would. Yeah.
So when they kind of showed part of the facial features, I'm like, damn, that kind of looks like her, dude.
Yeah.
Like it kind of looks like her.
But
she slimmed up quite a bit now.
And this is out of respect for Bull for me. She don't need lackeys. Bull has never needed a lackey in her entire career.
Bro, we could give you guys like links to put.
Oh God. Anyway, all right, Leroy, we'll stop our tangent.
All right, no, hey, that's all right. In the match here, the ladies' half of the way were successful.
Mm-hmm.
GG and they did, so they are going to be on there. And then Casey Catanzaro, she's
the wrestler that was with there with Priscilla Kelly was a wrestler AEW just had on Dynamite for 5 straight weeks.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
That's
Yeah.
the other girl.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I forgot about that.
It happens.
God dang, they dropped the ball on all the good females. It's so horrible to watch.
All right. And then, okay, them are the two that won. There's a smaller pool for the ladies, of course.
Yeah.
Next week, it's going to be Ember Moon, Shotzi Blackheart, and Marina and Zoe Stark. And then it's going to be Aaliyah and Jessie Camara against Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. That's the next matchup.
Can I just point something out? They have been booking the way perfectly.
Well, yeah.
Because here's the deal. Why? Because someone said, well, why would you let the women win but not the men? Because losing is what makes Johnny a good heel.
Yes.
Losing makes Johnny look like a pissed off heel, and it also makes Austin look like the small child character he's playing. But Candice is so confident as the Poison Pixie that it makes sense why the women of the way would have success, because then Candice can be the supportive wife and not her come off as the spoiled little brat, but have Johnny come off as the spoiled little brat. So
are the ladies half of the way? Are they going to win the next one?
You know,
well, they're
What's the next
possibly
round?
they're going to against possibly Ember Moon.
Ember
and Shotzi
and Shotzi are just two people whose names alone I think you propel to at least the finals. Whether they win or not, I'm not here to say, but their name alone propels them to the finals.
Well, we'll have 2 more weeks. They'll have 2 more ladies match this week.
Yeah.
And then they'll come down to the semifinals to put over whoever's going to be in the finals.
Also, for those of you on the internet who are saying, oh, God, why does WWE have to have a women's everything for this? This is the perfect place because there was nobody bigger on female wrestling becoming bigger than Dusty. This honestly, I'm surprised wasn't from the get-go.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Now the women's Money in the Bank, the women's Royal Rumble, okay, all of that is, we're now boasting women equality, great, fine, whatever, that was the way the world was.
And
but
the Mae Young Classic.
Exactly.
No, you gotta remember that.
But to have a Dusty Rhodes Classic, I'm surprised that wasn't the get-go because remember, Dusty was so high on the Paige era, on the Charlottes, on the Becky. Those women, Dusty looked at them and said, God damn, if I'd only had them when I was booking back in the day. I'm like
he's looking to think, God damn, you guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, we would once again like to thank Haitian Temptation Hot Sauce. It was an absolute pleasure having him on here. We had a little technical difficulty in the middle. Leroy's going to make sure we splice that as best we can to be put up.
Yeah, I'll probably have a little burp right in the middle there, but
yeah, it's all right. But
we'll make
Jesse,
it work.
We're going to get you more consistently now, from what I hear.
Sunday, the day that we do this, I'm actually a lot more freer. You can find me on many platforms. Twitch TV, twitch.tv/theblackness89, Blogspot Radio, Jay's Take, or just find me on Facebook at Jay's Take Community, man. Thanks for joining.
You definitely you gotta add that to you gotta add that. You're the member. You're on our podcast page. You should put the link in on there so we can check that out. Yeah.
We're also going to have you more consistently on 13 Cards every week. Can't wait. Can we book you for next week already? Can we kind of just say that? Okay, I like to hear that.
Right.
But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, Haitian Temptation, go ahead, look it up. We're going to look for a description. He is now going to be a consistent thing that we'll sponsor here on the show. We can't wait to work with that. This is absolutely fantastic. We loved it from the second.
Even my kids like it.
We have a video that Leroy has. He's going to splice that up for our YouTube channel. We're trying out the whole live thing today. It was a lot of fun. Jesse's going to be eating some crow here down the line. We're going to make sure of it. I'm thinking...
We're going to find some... We're going to talk... I'll get some hotter sauce?
No. I've already figured it out.
Oh.
I'm going to call my friends over at Buffalo Wild Wings and have them send over some Carolina Reaper rings. We're really going to hurt you for a 2-hour show there. But anyway, Jesse, once again, thank you. It's always a pleasure to have you on the show. For Leroy and myself, once again, I'm going to close by saying this. The reason why we bring on someone like Al is because we're willing to talk about anything that involves wrestling to combine it. We love to have people on. It's a fan-based podcast. If you didn't like that, I don't really care, and I know that I'm supposed to care what the fans want, but the thing is, it's not an every week thing, but once in a while, it's a lot of fun to bring people on that maybe aren't necessarily part of it.
Don't just jump down their throats, guys. Having someone who is, like I said, guys, look him up. He's a really good professional boxer. You might not have heard of him in your region, but look his stuff up on YouTube. He's very good. And getting that kind of insight actually helps you as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? We at the show we love to pimp, but we also love free shit. We got free bottles of hot sauce. I ain't gonna bitch about that.
Damn right.
All right.
We gotta pimp ourselves out too. Remember, Podomatic. We're on there.
We're still on Spotify.
We're still on Spotify.
Leroy is now up to 13 episodes on.
I found
YouTube.
I found a better program to splice and drop some up so I can get them up faster. I was looking for a while because the one I was using was annoying me. So I'm going to get more up on YouTube. So follow us on YouTube. Our
first 13 episodes are now on YouTube, which I think is a big number for us here at the show.
Oh, yeah.
And we are also now, you can go look us up at, again, discoverprowrestling.com. Everyone
definitely,
should go over and create themselves a page there. A lot of cool stuff coming from Eric and the crew over there. But you can find us directly through them now. Super excited that we're on there as well. And I believe we still have an iTunes account with the shows.
Still iTunes, Spotify, and all that. Oh yeah, we're still in there, and then we'll make our more content on our YouTube page. Hopefully, check it out. Fantastic. Especially this one's gonna be on, and hopefully soon we're gonna live stream through either YouTube or through Facebook and do stuff like that.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we all of us here, thank you very much, and y'all have a good day.